Warning. The following show features reviews from wildly unprofessional critics operating without the supervision of professionals. The thoughts and opinions held by these individuals are not to be taken seriously and do not come from a place of intellectual integrity. This show doesn't reflect the opinions of Criticless or its users. Viewer discretion is advised.
What's up? What's up? What is up, everybody? Hello and welcome to another episode of Criticless Cast Unhinged. And if you've noticed, I'm talking with my native dialect because today we're going to be talking about Joe Dirt, the 2001 classic film, Joe Dirt. This is the critic-hated, audience-loved film that we have been demanded to review from multiple of our users, including iMiscreant Movies, who has given it high praise. And we found out that all of us were in some weird range of either not seen it, don't remember on this show. So we were like, this is the perfect critic-hated movie to review. And so we're going to dig into that a little bit later, but this is going to be the regular live show per usual. But what I need to do before we do anything else is introduce my co-hosts, Mr. Christopher Cowles.
Hello.
And Mr. Matt Verlaque.
What's up, everybody?
And I am your host, Blaine Andrews, Lord Emperor, the Crit Commander of the Crit, and a user of Criticless.com. To make sure to do that. And you can find us in Android and Apple app stores. We are an entertainment reviewing platform. So make sure to do that. We'll be talking about it throughout the show, so we'll make sure you know what the deal is. But hello to everyone in the chat. Hail, what is up? Nice of you to join us. And I know that there were some people that were definitely excited about us reviewing this, and we had some more reviews pop into the app as I started telling everybody that we were doing this. But to kick the show off, what we need to do is, we need to educate a few boomers. All right, so we it seems that we have got our situation situated and have kind of figured out how to do this now where we can actually have sound. And of course, we're one set of headphones short. Matt is bare-eared, so I've primed him on everything that we're talking about. But our boomers segment here is that basically what we do is we talk about things that are going on in current culture. We talk about things that might or might not be in the interwebs that some of the booms might not know about. And so I'm just here to help you keep abreast of the current culture. So Chris, do you have, which there's nothing coming out of the sound right now, so you shouldn't.
Oh, okay. I shouldn't hear your voice. Hi, I can't hear.
So that's what's going on. Is that we're like I said, we're still figuring out the system, but I think we've semi got it. So to start things off light, I just want to pose a question to you guys. This is one that I did not prime Matt on, and he has not heard. So
all right.
I will we'll keep you abreast.
Wait, y'all never normally like prep each other on questions?
No.
All right, I was like,
headphones. I wanted
to... Is this scripted? And I was left out of this whole thing.
The only one not in.
That checks out.
Yeah. Way to let the cat out of the bag.
Right. Exactly.
Damn.
Like what's the show? The Jury's show.
Yeah.
Chris is the only one not in on the joke. His life is just a Truman Show.
True.
So yeah. So question here, guys.
Sure.
And I'll play the video, but just to poll the audience, what is the number one most popular name for homosexual men?
Why are you looking at me?
Let's
see.
I said the most popular name.
Man, I'm gonna go with Joel.
Joel, interesting. I'm gonna guess Chris.
Look, Chris is just a popular name all around.
It's a good name.
So
good name.
That's fair.
Well, at first I was gonna say my own because like Matt's biblical and there's so many Matts.
And the Bible's full of homosexuality.
Oh yeah, they're just normally closeted, which is why this is probably skewed.
Yeah.
Whatever he's about to say.
Well, no, they brought together the gays and they've decided there is a
definitive gay name.
So okay. I can tell you it's right here.
What do you think is the most common name for a gay man? And there's one answer.
I know what it is. There's so many.
I will give you a hint. It's
Kyle.
Close.
I like that.
Brian.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a hint. You're one of your probably other than me, gay best friend is named this.
Oh, and his husband.
and his
They're
husband.
both named Matt.
Thank you. Oh,
So
if you
many
know
gay
a,
Matts.
if you know a Matt in your life,
should have gone with
they
my
are
gut.
gay.
That was
And if
so
they're
early.
They just called it Matt. All right, I want to play that one more
a
time.
Matt in your life,
Mhm.
they are gay. And if they're telling you
Uh-huh.
that they're straight,
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I
sis.
like it's so true. I know at least like 2 other gay Matts. I mean, 2 gay Matts. Oh my goodness.
So, oh my God.
Embarrassing.
Yeah. So you've been outed, Matt. They said it's
Yeah.
period. I mean, it's clearly factual here. They've decided. They said if you're named that, you were guaranteed to be.
I guess I need to go tell Zena
Yeah.
the bad news.
You might should let your.
To be fair,
All right.
I mean, Matt's never come out and told us that he's straight. We've just kind of assumed. So
Well, I have come out, so that's for sure.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I found this hilarious, and I was gonna send it to Matt, and I was like, no, even better. Let's go into the show after having y'all guess. He was the first runner-up. So also, you guys, this is more of we're not this little bit right here. We're not actually even educating boom booms. This is actually to help you feel a little bit better, and actually to help Chris and I feel better as well. I don't know if Matt has dealt with the recession yet, but the recession is hitting, and this young man he's talking about it. So
What up? Yeah, I just want to give a quick appreciation to Walton Goggins' flow. I think it's the most important lettuce in history because it's sick flow, but it's also a receding hairline, which makes it even more legit. And it's an important message to dudes like me who live and die by our salad. You know, because sometimes people will be like, Chad, what if you go through a recession? I'm like, I'll write it up. I can't control the economy. No, I'm talking about the even scarier kind. A recession on your dome. Oh.
The
Yeah.
dome session.
But Walton Goggins has given me reason.
Mine's the reverse recession. So
yeah, see, I've been fighting mine back. Chris knows the deal.
Yeah.
And if you've ever seen Walton,
Goggins. Quick appreciation to Walton
him,
Goggins.
he's currently blowing up. Walton Goggins he was
Teeth. Mr. Teeth.
Do what?
Mr. Teeth.
He does have teeth.
They're
like a lot
pretty
of people
prominent.
have. Semi-prominent.
Yeah.
More prominent forehead.
yeah, 5 head.
Oh, okay.
He's got a 5 head. I mean, it's
this
like
guy, Walton Goggins.
Yeah.
we all know Walton Goggins.
Yeah, yeah.
But he's blowing up right now, and the missus has been talking about him lately too, because all the girlies, as they say, are all about Walton Goggins. I mean, this dude is like he's 50s somewhere, right?
Yeah, he's got to be in his 50s. That'd be my guess.
Yeah.
And
Late 40s.
He's literally
Yeah.
in everything right now as far as TV goes. Like, yeah, he's White Lotus, all this stuff, and he's somehow found a way in his 50s, balding on top, going through a full recession, and still just like own it.
Yeah, well, I mean, first he's named Walter Goggins.
Yeah.
That name is epic.
Yeah.
And he was like,
Dope.
I'm just gonna own my style.
Right.
I have a receding hairline. I'm balding in the back. I'm just gonna party, man.
Yeah.
That's what he's doing.
Yeah.
And he, like you said, he's got a huge. It's not an up and coming. It's just he's just becoming more popular.
Right. And it's wild too, I think, with the spotlight being on him right now, that it's cool how much he's blowing up at this age. This isn't something you see a lot where you're like, this is the dude that's getting cast and everything currently, and he's in his 50s and like really became known for Justified like way back when.
Right.
And now he's like had this huge resurgence and is like not meeting all of the male beauty standards, They're
Yeah.
He's just got that vibe,
that's what I
the
was about
big dick energy.
That's what
Right.
it really is. He's
Yeah.
got the big D,
Mm.
BDE.
Yeah.
It's he's got that vibe, and people are like, they pick up on it.
Yeah.
It speaks volumes for if you're feeling a recession, if things are happening.
Is my recession that bad?
No, it's not. I just know that we
Shit.
both talked about it.
Yeah, no, I do feel like it's.
No,
Getting
mine's
bad.
worse than yours. So I mean, mine's been.
You are
That's
older
why he's
than
wearing a hat today. You knew we were
Yeah.
gonna talk about it. You're like, I'm not showing shit.
Well, shit.
Ain't nobody saying that.
It's a great hat, though.
So my legit hat. So actually stole from my wife. But the real meat and potatoes of what we are going to educate the boom booms on today, and obviously Chris, is this recent space capsule ordeal with the hose in space.
I like where this is going. All right.
So
Two
The
of my
first
favorite
international
topics.
brothel in
Yeah.
space.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hose and space.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
two of your favorite things.
That's right.
So you haven't heard about this whole Blue Origin?
So
I mean, I've heard of Blue Origin. Is that Amazon one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But I haven't heard of anything
so it went
recently.
up, and they sent up a bunch of like famous women, including Katy Perry,
It is the
Oh.
first all women space flight.
which I would say subspace personally.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah.
not like they went up to the space station or anything.
Right.
Which, if that
They actually did this in Fast 10, so
right.
come on. If they can do it in like a Camaro with some rockets on the side.
Yeah,
Come on.
that's the
We all
standard
know.
for sure.
Or it's just all completely fake. Brings me to this discussion here.
Uh-huh.
So I will go ahead and show you the deets on this.
All right.
Something is definitely not adding up. And I'm going to be the one to say it. Somebody got to be lying. I was watching the live footage from when the capsule came from space. Y'all going to see it too. But somebody that was in the capsule opened the door, opened the hatch from inside the capsule, y'all. So when the door opened from the capsule, a lady that was standing by Jeff Bezos ran over to the door and said something, probably like, don't do that. You can't do that. It's showing. Don't open it. Don't open it. But it was already too late, y'all. It was on live feed. But you know, they still had to try to play it off somehow. So the people from the live crew that was talking was like, Jeff Bezos is about to open the door from the outside. He about to open the hatch. And then Jeff Bezos went over there with some little key or whatever. And then he act like he was opening the door when we all just seen that the door opened from the inside. That's not supposed to happen. You cannot open that capsule from the inside. It's pressurized. It's closed from the outside and locked and sealed. So how did they open it? Somebody on that jump opened it. So you mean to tell me they got blasted up in space? Something is definitely not.
So I mean, Chris, you're the resident space expert here. I mean, do you think?
Oh, yeah, yep,
News to
true.
Chris.
Yes, hold on. Where's my credentials? Yes.
I mean, we all know I don't believe in it.
Oh,
so,
true.
I mean,
Yeah, if that's the standard we're going best off on, I am an expert. Yeah, I mean,
pretty big shit.
yeah, that too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, sure.
It's just
Yep.
weird. Like the fact that it did open from the inside. There's supposed to be this whole thing open with a key. Whatever.
Right.
So was it that like maybe they dropped them with a parachute from like a low orbit thing? Is that what happened? I say low orbit, out of a
Right.
plane, whatever, some kind of something.
Right.
And like that's really what was going on, because there's more to it too, where one of the big things in question as well is that they're not wearing suits or with helmets or anything special. It's just like a
Right.
very, but as we've said, if it's inner space,
Well, that's why I was just
Great
wondering,
movie.
because like I'm always gonna look at something like this in kind of a, well, are we overanalyzing? So like, would they need like a spacesuit or anything like that, especially with like a helmet and things like that, to just go into like low orbit space? Because I don't think astronauts, well, I don't know if astronauts wear like helmets during their launch and everything, or do they put it on like when they get up there?
Right.
I don't know.
I think it just
Maybe
depends.
somebody in the comments can tell us, but
Yeah. I mean, YouTube will know better than us for sure.
maybe.
It's more of a joke. It's I think as long as it's pressurized, then you don't need to wear a helmet.
Sure.
Other than
Yeah.
precautionary if it explodes. But I think you got bigger problems at that point than being able to breathe. But yeah, I really don't think it wouldn't be that big of a deal to do it. Like, I mean, there's companies that will send you up in just like an airplane, essentially. And you're like, right.
Right.
like there's bands that have filmed videos actually in
Yeah.
Right.
space and stuff. So
Okay, go.
So I just wonder, I'm like, were they making a bigger deal out of this than what it really was? Were they saying that
Probably.
this was more extravagant? It's like it's Katy Perry and these other people, and it's just
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
real. Like,
Yeah. Well,
Well,
but
yeah.
it's also, if they're able to do it, it's not that impressive. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like they had to, I don't know. Again, I'm the idiot here that doesn't know anything. I didn't even know this was happening. But like, surely they didn't have to go to space camp for, however many years like normal astronauts do. So it's probably just completely all automated. They go up, the pod releases and they parachute down and that's it.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I imagine. I imagine they probably went through like maybe like a week long. Because the thing is astronauts spend so much time because they are up there for so long, and I imagine there's more force to it and all that, all the G's and everything. I'd be curious to compare like these launches to actual like NASA launches. to like how they compare with the force used and all that. Like, are they using smaller rockets because they don't have to go as far because they're not catapulting a rocket ship all the way to the space station since they're just going low orbit and coming back?
Yeah.
I don't know much about this except that's
Yeah. Did
costs a lot.
they not like record it? You know what I mean? Like, do they only record them landing and opening?
No, it was on film. I didn't see a whole lot. It was just kind of taken media film.
I think there was film in space.
Okay.
Where
Yeah, 'cause
there's some video where they were like, I saw that where they were like, we're in space, and it was literally exactly what was said by in the Fast movie when they go to space.
Right.
It was just like, we're in space, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh,
What
well.
would you say, Matt, if you made it to spades? What
I'd
would
be
be
like,
your?
fuck you guys, I'm up high above you now.
I'm
Sucking
better than
knees.
all of you.
Nerds.
I'm gonna pee on you. Yeah, because you think about like the whole what is it? Who's the other guy? Megalomaniac, rich guy. Yeah, Musk. Like he recorded his entire thing wherever he launches.
I mean,
Car.
he literally launched his car
right?
with a camera on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like-
So like, I'd be surprised that they wouldn't do that with this one. Not to say that you can't edit
Fake it.
film, right? You can
know that you
fucking
fake
make
it.
anything, right?
Right.
Which also, I don't know if y'all saw, there was, well, you clearly didn't, but like there was footage of Bezos before this happened as well, and he walks around the thing after it lands, the pod, and he falls in a hole and eats shit, like on TV, just like boom. And it was a little bit before this happened, so that was great. But this actually, so there's another layer to this. And before we keep trucking, I do want to say what's up to everybody in the chat. We already told in the chat, Elma the Red, hey, nice of you to join us. Hello. Also, per usual, last call with Troy hopped in here helping us out. And I popped it up a minute ago, but we got a member. So thanks. Really appreciate it. And everybody make sure to subscribe, like, comment, do all of that, like he said as well. We appreciate the memberships and all of that. So thank you very much. And then to the usual Spud Specs, Jared's in here as well. Faith, hello. Caveat Ties, everybody that's in here. If I missed anybody, Matt, to give him a holler. But I think that was, and then Miss Criticless as well. So hello to everybody in the chat.
Faith Thomas here once again.
Yeah.
Much appreciated.
Yep. And then to our ex folks as well that pop in as we kind of start trucking. So what's up? So there is one more layer to this that I wanted to pull up, which is I found very interesting and gets deeper into my conspiratorial soul.
You see it? I mean, do you really see it? This is the patch that all of the ladies wore on their Blue Origin flight to space yesterday. You can even see their names around it: King, Sanchez, Perry. But when you flip it upside down, you see something completely different. Baphomet. That's right. This patch upside down is almost...
Bro, straight up, like, it's about identical. Like,
or just a bull.
I mean, either way, it's pretty spot on, and we know that they like the goat imagery. But I mean, the fact that it has the fire coming out of the top, we've got both horns, we got the ears and eyes, like the face shape's the same, and there's more to it. But I saw this, I was like, holy crap. And this lady's not.
Which is funny, like the first thing I said, because Blaine showed this to me before, because we didn't think I'd have a headphone. And it was, my first thought was, oh, it's a vagina. Because they were touting this flight was the first like all women flight. And I was like, oh, they're just trying to hide like a vagina in there somehow. And then they were like, no, the Baphomet,
maybe
the devil work.
The thing here, Matt, it's really the subtext that women are evil, spawns of Satan. That's what they're saying.
It's just vaginas all the way down, man. How deep does this rabbit hole go, baby?
Almost an identical outline of Baphomet, a symbol that often represents Satan. And the flames that are supposed to be coming out of the spaceship are now the flame on the head. And maybe the star is not in the middle of the forehead, but the star's right here. This isn't the first time that we have found the symbol of the Baphomet by things being mirrored or flipped upside down. Remember the King Charles painting from last year? How when you mirrored it, the middle looked like the Baphomet? Here it is in black and white. It might be easier for you to see. And now when you look at this, it's just too obvious. Let's not pretend that Katy Perry is the queen of symbolism. I had a lot of questions yesterday after the Blue Origin.
There they are, Chris. There they are in space.
Oh,
they're floating.
Cool.
You know, you see
Which could be low orbit.
Low orbit, exactly.
Yeah.
In space flight, like why these ladies didn't have to wear helmets into space. But now I want to know about this. Is this just all a big coincidence, or is this symbol done on purpose? As all
And so I'll say as well, this type of imagery is very common. We see it in government stuff. We see it across the board. Tons of this like hidden imagery and things. If you're in the conspiracy realm, especially when it's Baphomet hidden in things. And I can't blow this up much bigger, but there are also little symbols all around here that are different all throughout this patch that aren't the same. And I've seen other people dissecting it, and actually those have other conspiratorial so like meanings and stuff. And so there's some other very interesting things if you really want to head down the rabbit hole of this this journey that they took. So yeah,
cool.
Yeah, I was. Is there any more videos on this, or is this the last one?
No, that was the last one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was talking to Xena yesterday about this, and I had a different theory because they were touting that this cost like $1 billion or something.
Right. What?
That this was an insanely expensive. And I'm like, I get it. They're trying to be like, this is a commercial thing. In the long term, I'll do something else. But what if they fake this for like a tax write-off kind of thing?
Right.
If they're like, oh, we spent $1 billion on this, but to launder money, because it is kind of weird and like
strange. It's like,
yeah.
Oh, okay, like we're gonna just send this all-female crew to kind of sort of space. We're
Kind of space, yeah.
They're gonna spend this truckload of money. Like it's just, and it's going to be celebrities and just all of that. It's just so publicity gimmicky and just.
Oh yeah,
like,
obviously. If you're sending Katy Perry anywhere, it's for publicity.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the weird thing is she's not popular right now. Like her last album did terrible.
Right.
Nobody, it was not well received, and
Yeah.
she called off her tour because like ticket sales were down or something like that. I'm trying to recall now.
Yeah, there was some weird stuff.
I forgot that we were going to talk about her. So it's not like she's a top of the charts anymore. Like she's not one of the more famous singers. Like if they got like Sabrina Carpenter,
satanic imagery.
that she is, as you pulled up with her Instagram. But if they'd gotten somebody like young and that was super popular right now, it would make more sense. So it is interesting that they picked Katy Perry as an option. Maybe she's just available and she's like, well, if I die in space, then I'll go out famous or something.
Or it's this big staged event, which I'm very used to. No big deal. You know, drop our pot out of the back of a plane and say we went to space.
Right.
Yeah. So what's the impact here?
Right.
What does all this mean, Blaine?
Right.
Like why is it significant? How does it affect me?
It doesn't.
Yeah, well, clearly not me, but okay.
Yeah. Well, and that was my thing. I was like, why would they fake this?
Right.
Because that's was another thing. That's why I was like, the only reason I could come up with was this is some sort of tax evasion. Like we spent $1 billion, but this really only costs 100,000 to fake it or whatever.
Right.
And the accountants aren't going to know. And Amazon has to be hurting to a degree, especially with like everything that's going on right now.
Right.
But
nope.
You don't think so?
No. So Amazon's money all comes from AWS. They're the actual like Amazon Prime Storm.
Sure. Okay.
Like that stuff is just kind of like break even.
Yeah.
Or even probably tax write-off, probably for a lot of it, but the AWS stuff, which is not affected by tariffs, if that's what you're referencing for things going on. If there's something else going on, I have no idea.
Well, there's a lot. They did get sued for lying about non-membership stuff.
Gotcha.
I mean, there's been some lawsuits against them because it was like, oh, promise 2-day delivery, and a week later you get your thing, so it's false advertising and stuff like that. So they have gotten in trouble for some things. But you're right. Like if their AWS and cloud servers are where they're really making their money, they don't talk about that stuff. Everyone thinks about Amazon through package deliveries or like their video streaming services, which I mean, they spend how much on Wheel of Time and things like that. They sink some serious money into that. And that's where people talk about, oh, that's where they're hurting.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure. I gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah, that is the case. So yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to show this and talk about it because it is a just a weird thing that is on everybody's talking about. And the interesting thing about this being conspiratorial and all of that is typically that part of things doesn't hit the mainstream media.
Yeah.
All of the mainstream sites were running videos, basically like running interference for this being a conspiracy and this being fake after that door incident and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And so it really, being that the mainstream media finally joined in, it drummed up a lot of like, the controversy and all of the talk around it. So,
which is what always happens.
Right.
I feel like this is just the same song and dance we go through every single time something like this happens. We're like, look at this. This is really crazy and definitely not real. And then it just gets swept under the rug like a month later. It just, we talk about it. We're like, man, these companies suck. And then off it goes.
Epstein didn't kill himself. Speaking of Satan, though,
Yeah.
Baphomet, as some people say, I did see randomly there was somebody else had some satanic like concert happening. I can't remember if it was like Lady Gaga.
I mean, that is
I can't
pretty
remember the artist. I think it happened recently. I could be out of the loop even more, but yeah, there's a. I know we had talked about that even I think off the air.
Right.
There's a lot of satanic stuff just out in the ether right now. So
Yeah, it's really weird.
yeah.
I don't know what the deal is, but yeah. So, anyways, those were all things that I wanted to touch on for our educating boomers. In just a second, we'll move on over into the news. And I did want to say, because Jake brought it up in the chat, and this is Jake is giving us $10 towards a better microphone, which is really funny because I was about to address your comment. Thanks for that. Thanks for the 10 for, and I will address it actually. So, interestingly enough, we actually do have really good mics, and they sound much better. Like if you listen to my daily show, this is a problem we've been trying to figure out for the better part of a year. We got a different soundboard and it still sounds like this. We can't figure out exactly what the deal is because these mics sound fantastic when they are connected directly to a computer, but for whatever weird reason we seem to have a ton of issues because we actually got all new mics. We have show mics, which is what most of the folks in the space kind of use. Now we don't have the top tier ones. We've got ones that are slightly lower, but that's so that these can plug into computers as well. But either way, yes, it's a weird issue that I am going to figure out, especially after us buying the new soundboard and stuff. And Matt's ears don't notice it at all, so he is not our sound engineer. Yes, we are currently trying to figure that out. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I will soon enough. I've planned some days out to fart around with our system and try and figure out what's going on. This whole type of setup is a little different and kind of interesting. We've piddled around with certain ideas. But anyways, that's a long story on all of that. So hopefully we'll figure it out. Fingers crossed. But anyways, Matt, why don't we go ahead and go into the news? All right. So obviously we have to talk about the number one most important thing in all of news.
Yeah, we do.
Which is that the Pacific Rim TV show is fully greenlit. It's happening over at Amazon, and Legendary's taking part in it because they own the rights to it. So this is an exclusive from Variety that just dropped not long before the show today. Well, a little earlier today. And so I obviously was extraordinarily excited.
I'm currently excited.
I'm so excited. It's palpable, really.
And if anybody doesn't know, Pacific Rim has a long-standing fame within the app and with us, and it got its own achievement due to Chris's hatred for the movie and our extreme love for it.
Right. I mean, it's an amazing movie.
Some would call it the best movie ever made.
Yeah, I still think we need to rent out a whole theater and like anybody who's in like the Charlotte area come like watch it with us.
Agreed.
We do like an annual Criticless like Pacific Rim party where we all like get wild and have like the Minecraft moments where we're like throwing kaiju up in the air and stuff.
Yeah,
what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I mean, I'm game for whatever, anything Pac Rim. Now, I actually, at this exact time, maybe even this exact day last year, did a live watch party and react to this film in Vegas with the Salty Nerd podcast.
Nice.
So we did that one live on the air. But yeah, so if you don't know about this, then make sure to get your badge within Criticless. But there is a specific way to do it, and obviously, there's only one right answer for how to review Pacific Rim.
Yeah.
So
yeah, don't be a fool.
Yeah,
do it the right way.
I posted my review of that pile too early in the development of the site, and it gypped me out of a 0. It automatically added a 1, and I have never forgiven Criticless since then.
Oh, back when it was not quite a perfect system.
Yeah.
So
I actually think that was Chris's true score,
right.
And that
1%. You know,
100%.
Really what it should be. So yeah, it's this show I'm pretty excited about. So kind of to break into the news here is that which Variety is very much, it just says exclusive all over the site. So we're very proud about getting this this news early. And I actually have a video on this channel somewhere from quite some time ago about it. But essentially it was reported that this Eric Haerser, he's going to be the writer and executive producer of the show. And basically this is they're calling it a first look deal. So typically that means it's greenlit and definitely happening over at Amazon. And which that isn't always the case because I don't know if you guys heard about it. Thank you, sweet baby Jesus, for this wonderful news. But the Tomb Raider television show is canceled, which was also a first look deal with Phoebe Waller-Bridge, and apparently the show was so bad that they nuked it. That is exactly what she deserves because she is gutter trash and makes terrible TV and movies. So Chris, she's the one that did Fleabag, but has done nothing but garbage since.
Oh,
She did the last.
Aw.
She also did the last
Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones.
Hold on, she was gonna be
No, she wasn't
Tomb
gonna
Raider.
be Tomb
Okay,
Raider.
I was like,
No.
I liked her in Fleabag. I
Right,
haven't.
well, and she self-inserted herself into Indiana Jones and was part of the reason for that movie tanking. She has written other movies that have tanked. Everything that she touches goes to shit, pretty much.
Yeah.
So basically, in this article, they do touch on like the first movie, the sequel that didn't do as well, which someone in the chat really likes because he is a fool.
It's
And-
not that bad.
No, it's okay.
It's like a red. I mean, I'm pretty sure if you go look it up from memory, I rate it as a red.
Okay.
It's not as good. It does have some flaws, but it is still a fun movie.
I mean,
So
the problem is in the first film, it was slow, lumbering robots that moved, like you felt the weight. And then the second film happened, and these robots are just ninjas, like flipping and spinning and
it was
jumping.
very Transformers.
Yes, it's very Transformers-y, which angered a lot of fans because they were just like, this does not feel anything like what this is supposed to feel like. So wasn't it didn't get a lot of the fans. And like Jake says in the chat, I don't understand how anyone could hate Pacific Rim. And I agree. I don't understand.
How much time do we have? Let me lay it out for you.
Hate Pacific
Spend
Rim.
A lot of time expending needs on this.
No, I wouldn't, because it's not worth it.
Uh-huh.
It's that bad of a movie.
So yeah, unfortunately the article is really kind of full of just a lot of fluff and just
Right.
meandering. But it did make me a little nervous because the guy did the Shadow and Bone series on Netflix, which didn't get great results.
That wasn't a bad show, but for whatever reason, I didn't watch the finale. And then they had a second season, and I never went back.
Right.
I can't remember why. I can't tell you why I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
We just didn't. It was good. I enjoyed it. It was kind of like before I read Wheel of Time and all that, because it's kind of very Wheel of Timey.
Okay.
I don't know if you ended up watching it, Blaine. Chris, I doubt you watched it.
Yeah.
But
sure didn't.
Yeah.
Was it the Marvel one, or am I thinking of something else with a
isn't
similar
Marvel
name?
anything. I think it's based on a book series.
Oh, okay. Were
Yeah.
they superheroes though?
No.
No.
No, it's kind of like a fantasy world.
something
I
else.
think they have magic.
It's like modern day.
Okay, so there's magic. It's
Yeah.
like
No, it's not
superpowers.
I don't think so. I think it's like Wheel of Time, like I was saying.
See, I think we might be thinking of like Cloak and Dagger. Is that a?
That was
I mean, that's Marvel.
Yeah.
That's on Hulu.
I think it's just the name. That's very.
It is very similar names. So
The other good news is the guy that's involved though is the guy that wrote the film Arrival, which did really well and is a very highly praised movie. Along with he did Bird Box and Lights Out. He did Hours, and then he did Bloodshot. We reviewed that a million years ago.
we liked it.
Well,
we were like, this was a fun movie. And I rewatched it not that long ago. And I was like, it's still a fun movie
so it's
because it's different from Marvel and DC.
right. It's kind of one of those where it's like how we talk about like it's a Jason Statham movie.
Yeah.
It's a Vin Diesel movie.
Yeah.
It's one of those. So
That's very
if I
true.
remember right,
Very
it's
true.
also one of those that should have had an R rating and they PG-13 it, and it wasn't nearly as good because of that.
Yeah.
Yep.
That happens a lot.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it kind of neutered it. So next piece of news here.
Oh, wait.
Oh yeah. What you got?
So Guillermo del Toro hasn't been announced
He
as
is not
attached to it.
involved. He is not involved. I think
That's my red flag. That's my flag on the play right there.
Right. I feel like he should be involved. Right now, he is not listed as being involved. So it is a bit of a concern, but obviously, it depends on which direction this is going to lean. Does it lean towards more the sequel or the first one?
Yeah.
Like, which way did they go with it? There was actually even an anime, which did so-so. I wasn't super crazy about it.
Same.
But-
It didn't do it for me.
Yeah.
I don't like the animation style.
Same. I wasn't
just-
crazy about the style either.
yeah.
So, but the next piece of news here had me really excited, which is about Glenn Powell.
Okay.
Powell.
Oh,
Who we all love. Everyone
Love
loves.
him.
He's a
Yeah.
man's man.
Love
And
him.
he's actually going to be doing a comedy with Judd Apatow. I
Okay.
think that Glenn gets comedy. I think he understands it. He's also not one of these hyper lefty wokey types.
Sure.
So it should hopefully actually be funny and not be spending so much time trying not to be funny. And with Judd, I hope that Judd is working his way back into doing better comedy and becoming more of a name in this. But and the plot on this alone is what makes me excited.
Okay.
Which is that it's about a country western star. And
Okay.
It's a comedy, and it'll probably be starring him as well, I would say.
Judd Apatow. The name rings a bell, but I'm drawing
Everything.
blank.
It's
Yeah.
so many like comedy movies from the early 2000s.
Like comedies I like.
Probably.
So he
say that.
is the reason.
Oh, true.
He is the reason that Seth Rogen and
So you're talking about like
Knocked Up, This Is 40,
Okay.
40-Year-Old Virgin, King of Staten Island.
okay, yeah, we reviewed King of Staten Island.
Yeah.
A million years ago, like you said.
Yeah, I mean, he's
Okay.
been attached to so many things over the years. I mean, it just really, whether it's either that he's just written it or directed it or whatever, but he's kind of fallen out of grace a little bit because I think he got caught up in this current political thing, and with him being in comedy, like best of freaking luck navigating that.
Right.
Yeah.
Comedy has kind of died over the past couple years.
Whoa, it really has, especially we can talk about that later when we get to the main event, but like it really has died off.
Yeah.
And like it used to be where we had these crews of good comedian troops
Right.
that would go around and do these movies, and you were like, these were good movies, and I knew what to expect. An Adam Sandler movie is exactly what an Adam Sandler movie used to be.
Right.
That's the same for like
Or
this, like
his crowd of people and the Seth Rogans and all of those
Right.
guys, they had their brand of comedy. You had, the Wayans brothers who had their type of comedy.
Yeah.
You had
Will Ferrell.
Like there were these clusters of actors that all tended to work together.
Yeah.
And then you had like the even like the Grandma's Boy, like separated from Seth Rogen's stoner comedy, like the
Right.
other like that was actually
Yeah.
sort of like stoner comedy under the umbrella of Happy Madison Films.
right. So you
Right.
got an Adam Sandler twist to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that was the thing is we had those like three, and they would intertwine. They understood
Mhm.
they were all comedians, and they all had they're all really funny guys,
Right.
and they had made a lot of really funny movies. And here we are in this age where they still kind of exist. I mean, we have Happy Gilmore 2 coming out, which might be funny. I'm not holding my breath by
Yeah.
any means, but it's still happening nonetheless.
Yeah.
I think there's also a big difference. Sorry to cut you off. There's a big difference between like stand-up comics and comedic actors.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people don't like recognize it. They just say that they're comics. And they can be, but I think in my mind, there's a big difference between somebody who does stand-up comedy, which I feel like is thriving and is coming back. And I feel like a lot of popular people who don't toe the line, as you would say. But I feel like that hasn't transferred into the comedic actor field as
You're
much. So I agree with you that I feel like
it's where the Hollywood money comes from, and the
Yeah.
fact that basically Hollywood has still been hesitant to give up the money
Yeah.
to make these things, whereas all of these other people we're talking about, they can still thrive on stage
Right.
and in the comedy sphere and put out like their own comedy specials and all of that stuff. But they
Yeah.
aren't being given the funds to actually operate within the movie sphere.
What sucks is think about like Clerks.
Right.
That was made on a shoestring budget,
Right.
Yeah.
and
You can
it
make
was
comedy for
funny.
cheap.
Well, that was what I was getting to. You can make comedy for
Yeah.
cheap.
It's
And
like that.
nowadays, I'm surprised things like Netflix and maybe some of the more that are like struggling, like Max
If
and
you
stuff
think
like that,
about
really
recently,
did
like,
it.
We did get Ricky Stenicki.
Sure.
Like, that was in.
What was that
realm.
Tires show?
Yep, Tires came out recently, and
Yeah.
what's his face? That show was actually really good. Did you watch? You
Mm-mm.
didn't watch Tires? You would like it.
Yeah.
I didn't like it.
it's-
Well,
Yeah.
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 Matt and comedy.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
It's like Matt and gays, you know?
Synonymous.
Yeah, they are. They go one to one. But yeah, and I mean, and you mentioned in Clerks as well. Like honestly, you want to talk about another comedy group / director that has just faded into obscurity. Kevin Smith
Yeah.
does not do funny movies anymore because he got wrapped up in all of this.
Mhm.
crap.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now he's being careful.
I wonder if it's also that like so many people coming into acting don't want to get stereotyped into that realm, because it is a very like slippery slope, it seems like, to where once you play that role as the goofy goober,
Mhm.
that's kind of who you are, you know.
Unless, like we're talking about with Glenn Powell, unless you're like a super stud who's also super funny.
True.
Yeah.
And I hope that people like him are kind of giving confidence to some of these other actors.
Yeah.
If that is some of the like stigma there.
Right.
And that, because I mean, I think that this could be really funny. Obviously, I like country western stuff.
Sure.
Like, this could be really fun. Like this could be an interesting concept with Glenn being from Texas and he likes that world, all this stuff. And it sounds like this is probably going to happen. They're saying that they're fast tracking the movie at Universal. So this they're basically saying that it's about this star being in like free fall. And Glenn Powell is going to play the character, and Apatow is going to direct, and Powell is going to act in it, and they're both writing the script together. So this does sound like a really good combination.
Mhm.
I think that honestly, it's smart for him to work with someone like Glenn as well,
Mhm.
with them writing together all of that, because like I think that he will be more comfortable with letting things fly.
Mm.
Glenn's like, I don't care if I say that, or I don't care
Yeah.
if I do that. Like,
Right.
Well, and that's why I'm curious to see how this is going to be a comedy, because my first thought about this exact genre of Western is Walk the Line, the Danny.
Hmm.
I
Talking
can't
about
remember
the
his name,
Yeah,
but it's the comedy where he's a country
Yeah.
singer, and it has Will Ferrell's number 2 in it. I can't remember his name right now either. I'm just blanking on everything. But he was a Western singer, and it was a comedy. But is it going to be like that, or is it going to be more serious where they have comedic?
You're talking about Walk
elements?
Hard.
Yeah.
Dewey Cox.
Yes.
It's like Walk the
Yeah.
Line. Isn't that the Johnny Cash
Yeah,
doc?
it was
Like,
playing on that.
It was
movie.
playing on that.
I gotcha.
But that's exactly it. That
John
was
C. Reilly.
John C. Reilly.
Yeah.
Yep.
I imagine something kind of similar, but less stupid and more, because like that's not the type of lane of comedy that Judd Apatow
Right.
does.
Mhm.
Like his still leans towards, I don't want to say serious comedy, but it's not that like slapsticky, goofy
Yeah.
comedy.
Mhm.
And so I think it will be a good mix and good for somebody like Glenn.
Kind of like the masterpiece Airplane.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Movie a masterpiece.
Yeah. Come on, Blaine.
It is really bad that I have
No.
to lean on Matt for help on a comedy movie. It's like,
Well,
It's not funny.
This is
First off, and
pandering.
it's like one of those movies
Wow.
where they try to make you laugh
Okay,
over and
first
over
of all,
again, and it's not.
Leslie
enjoyable.
Nielsen is a national treasure. R.I.P. Leslie.
I mean, I'm not disagreeing there. I don't like most of his movies, but
Naked Gun.
I don't remember Naked Gun.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
So,
I did see that.
Yeah.
but so we need to move on into Marvel here. So first, I wanted to pull this up, just mention it, see if y'all had seen it. There has been Geeks and Gamers have it on their site. They shared it, but there is supposedly a leak of Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom, and everybody is like kind of giving it crap. I don't actually think it's that bad, but if this is real, then it's Robert Downey Jr. with long gray hair, gray beard.
Can I get more pixels? How much do I gotta pay?
Yeah, this is what happens when you pirate or take a photo on set when you're not supposed
That's
to.
also a real clever way to just AI generate an image, kill the pixels on it, and be like, oh, I took this in secret. That's why it's bad quality.
Right. So the question is, do you think it's real, or do you think this is
Well, I've heard it also before. Like that's kind of been they were saying that for years now. I feel like that he was going to be Dr.
No,
Doom.
it's official. He's going to be Dr. Doom. The question is just, is that a real photo?
Oh, yeah. This was just
then
a
sure.
first image leaked
Gotcha.
of
Okay.
him as it.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting.
Yeah.
I don't care one way or the other. At this point, it's just like, well, I'll go with it because we don't have a choice.
Right. Well, and it's like as long as he has the mask and like
The hood.
Doom with the hood
Right.
and the mask. Now, if
Right.
they're like just not doing any of that, they are gonna piss everyone off.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, they traditionally, Marvel has, even in their good movies, they have completely like redesigned characters.
Yeah.
Because I've been with my son watching like the old 80s and 90s, like Marvel, like Iron Man and all that stuff.
right.
Mm.
And I didn't realize how, because I've never read like the comics and stuff. I never realized how much they altered a lot of the villains' costumes and even the heroes' costumes,
Right.
Yeah.
just because they want to be able to show their face and all that. And I will be pissed
Right.
if they're like Dr. Doom only wears a mask like for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like no,
No.
he wears the mask most of the
And
time.
it looks super badass.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
that's the thing. Everyone loves him because of that mask.
Yeah. With the green cowl that comes over. It's
He
great.
just looks
Love
like
it.
he's gonna freaking whoop somebody's ass. Like, so yeah, I'm. We'll see. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
with the beard and the long hair and stuff, it's interesting.
Yeah.
But it's all about that mask.
But I'm
So-
also still on board with your take, Blaine, which I feel like a lot of people feel this way of just like bring in new. I'm
It's
dark.
just the sun in the background.
Yeah.
It's just
We're getting- there you go.
Hello.
Yes, we can see you. You're
Yeah.
in the whole. Yeah.
Not that anybody wants to see me, but
recording early like this, we get the sun behind the windows that y'all normally don't know are back
Yeah.
there.
like how we still say recording, even though we're not recording. It's just live. But I feel like they should just bring in new talent, like bring in somebody new. It doesn't have to be.
I don't
Why
get we're getting Robert Downey Jr. as this character. Now, granted, I guess it makes sense if like alternate universe Doc Doom, they're gonna kill him off. I'm hoping that this movie, well, not this movie, but this and the next one. What happens is that we get basically we get a proper universe. All of the multiverse stuff ended. All these other characters brought in and out and whatever. And they're basically, I hope that a lot of these people, like him in this role, are being brought in for cannon fodder to introduce a character and then give us a totally different version of that character.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping.
That would be awesome if this was all a misdirect. Because if you think about it, like think about everybody's up in arms, everybody's pissed. A lot of people were pissed anyways.
Yeah.
About this announcement. Everyone's like, oh, like I know I was like, oh, come on. Like you guys can't find anybody new. Why don't you bring back the Doctor Doom from the original Fantastic Four movie? Because I love that one, the Nip Tuck guy. But no, instead we're getting this aspect. And I was just like, okay, but that would be awesome.
Yeah.
If they literally just, this is their last movie with all these people and they kill them all off. I could see that, but then again, we've seen all these characters die multiple times at this point.
You're not going to have any emotional connection to Doctor Doom after seeing him in this one movie,
right?
Probably.
Well, but the second movie, I think they'll kill him.
Oh, well,
this
see,
is a
and then
two-parter, right?
Yeah, well, it is a two-part thing.
Okay.
So like they're doing like Battle World or whatever, probably in either this one or the following. So there's some interesting things happening.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm still over Marvel at this point.
Well, El Capitan, that's Captain Meat. He is donating to the Chris Gets a Better Light Fund.
Hey, thanks, bud.
Chris, which, and of course,
Look, we'll blame God on this one.
Also talking mad shit also about our mics. Like I told everyone else, we have the good mics. We just can't figure out why they don't sound good because we don't have a proper sound engineer.
Yeah, spend money to make us smarter, not to get better equipment. That's the real problem here.
To figure out how to fix all of our.
I don't think there's enough money in the world to fix that. So,
really not. So I am hell bent on figuring this out. So hopefully you guys can bear with us while we talk through our string in a can and Chris it's dark. So
yeah.
Well, the sun will eventually go down.
Yeah.
So
Prove
we'll
it.
be all right. I will in like 20 more minutes. Okay.
I don't believe you.
The last bit here that I did want to bring up is we do officially have Julia Gardner as a Silver Surfer. It's not super clear, but we do see her. So this is Lady Silver Surfer. Okay. Looks like a woman Silver Surfer. Like,
you looks like a lady.
You know, a lot of people are mad about this. I get it. Also, like I said, this could potentially be a alternate universe Silver Surfer that also does not survive, and we get the real Silver Surfer. So I'm not getting up in arms yet. We'll see what they do. I don't know.
Yeah, look, when you got the multiverse, you can kind of do whatever you want to, and it's justified. Right. Yeah, it's like, who cares?
Yeah. So we'll see. I don't think she looks bad. I think she looks okay. I don't hate it, but it's not Silver Surfer. You know, it's just not. I mean, it is kind of interesting to see like silver boobs, I guess. Like,
that is interesting, Blaine.
Yeah, because we've seen silver guys before, the T2 and all that.
Yeah.
So now we get silver boobs. So that's something new.
With any of those
right.
But they're not afraid to do silver boobs. So at least we get a little, a little bit of.
Yeah. We did get Blue Tick though.
We did.
Whole Watchmen. I need to go back and watch that actually.
Yeah, I haven't seen Watchmen in a long time. As long as it's not that garbage freaking TV show they put out. That was terrible.
Oh, really?
It was horrible.
Did you watch? You didn't watch it?
No.
I just loved it. It was an absolute abomination. I hated it with my heart and soul. So Chris is just going to get darker and darker. It is getting brighter.
Look, I'll use my body as a white
Chris
background.
is right at the opposite. I said the sun's going down, but actually it is coming up.
Yeah.
So
it really does
whatever.
look like it does keep getting brighter.
Yeah.
So,
Like nobody really wants to see my face anyways, so it's a benefit.
there we go. Well, so yeah, but I don't know. I want to know what everybody thinks about Silver Surfer. I am curious. It sounds like, it's getting a lot of the typical hate online, simply because nobody wanted a chick Silver Surfer. I think Julia Gardner is a totally fine actress. Like, I think she does a good job. I just find this to be a weird choice, but like I said, if she's an alternate universe one, they kill her off and we get actual Norrin Radd, who's the real Silver Surfer, then great, I guess, whatever. We'll see. I'm still nervous about this Fantastic Four movie, especially after the recent comments that came out by the guy playing Human Torch and talking about, basically like toxic masculinity type crap and stuff, and changing the script and
Yeah.
changing how the character was depicted and whatever. And I'm like, yeah, but doesn't this take place in like the 50s or whenever it's 30s or whenever it's supposed to
Right.
take
Aren't we
place?
talking about like extra toxic
Like,
at that point,
he
basically?
he should be.
That's just the 30s, brother.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I mean, he should be freaking ripping cigs and talking shit and
Smacking chicks on the ass and
exactly.
what's up, damn?
Yeah, exactly. And then it would make it even better because since it seems like they're probably going to bring these guys into modern day, it would really add to the comedy of like bringing this guy who's this toxic piece of crap from that time period and putting him in modern day, and everybody be like, hey, you're the worst.
Yeah, and talk about something they could easily do, and then that'd be a bigger talking point.
Right.
Because think about Captain America, because he goes already from being like the perfect guy
Right.
to like modern day where he's
Right.
still the extra perfect guy. So it's even like
Perfect guy with muscles.
exactly and a smile.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could really lean into a lot of the comedy with that, and I wish they would, but it seems like they're probably not going to be smart enough.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I am curious because that was a big. Well, I feel like there's a large difference between superhero movies where, like, DC was always the dark, edgy stuff, and Marvel had the comedic stuff, and that was paid off for them big time.
Right.
But then it kind of got overdone. I feel like.
Oh, and people were like tired of the comedy.
Yeah, so I kind of feel
Yeah.
I'm wondering how much funny they're going to put in this.
I bet I'm hoping anyways that this movie is very brutal actually, and that it's just like tasteful comedic elements. Just a quip here from like a character. Like you can have like the
Sure.
comedic character because Rocket tended to be that, like where he would just like quip in.
You thought Rocket was the comedic?
Sometimes.
Okay.
And Drax was
No,
like
just kidding. Yeah.
that's the thing is
Right.
they had to have like 3 or 4 that had different levels of comedic effect.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay. And with this amount of characters,
Right.
they could easily do
Mm.
that where it's just quips, where it's not like because the original Guardians
Mhm.
and the Thor Ragnarok, like those were the most
Yeah.
comedic. And that's when they were like, oh, these
This
comedy
works.
ones are doing really well. We got to really take
Right.
it to the next level.
Yeah, and they just leaned in a little too hard.
Right.
Yeah.
And obviously with Ant-Man and some of the others, like they did lean harder into that.
Yeah.
Some of that I liked. Some of it I was like, you can pull back a little bit. But
Yeah.
it all just depends. So yeah, I'm curious to see. I don't know how this movie's going to be. Obviously, we're not far away, and we do have Thunderbolts in like a few weeks. We've already got our tickets.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah, I won't be there, by the way.
oh, you won't? That's
No.
when you're out of town.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're always out of town.
Look, I like to travel,
Mhm.
live my life.
That could be a
Guest
perfect
spot.
opportunity, yeah, for a guest spot. And we've been talking about one of my fellow Monday hangover mates doesn't
Oh.
live too far from here.
Okay.
Mm.
So maybe we can get him in live and with old Mo Zamboni, or as we called him, Slow Zamboni.
Mozambique.
Mhm.
Yes. But yeah, he doesn't live far from here, so maybe we'll get him in. That would be a fun show.
Dude, yeah.
To have him on, and maybe we'll have our audio fixed by then.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably not. But yeah, and actually, I don't know if y'all saw as well. Jake brought up as well, basically that Franklin Richards was teased. So what they did was they teased that Miss Fantastic is pregnant in this.
Mm.
And so we're wondering if there's going to be some time jumping to different things. And basically, he brought up that maybe that Franklin Richards is going to be the catalyst for Secret Wars because Franklin Richards is notoriously like extraordinarily powerful,
Mm.
and so he is a top tier level hero.
I don't know anything about him.
Oh,
Out of
the
curiosity,
Richards
like,
child.
What's his power? Is he just omnipotent? Like, what's his power?
He's stretchy and smart, and can go invisible.
Stretchy
right?
and can be invisible.
Yeah.
That's a question for you, Blaine. What's his power?
Yeah.
You're the one talking about it.
he glazed over.
Sorry.
God's your power.
He's like,
That's
yeah.
it. Okay.
Yeah, no, I think we were having motion issues and like audio issues and stuff from SteamYard. So that's why I was trying to.
Oh, the latency again.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah. Jake said he controls reality. So
Oh,
hopefully
okay.
it sounds like Jake can actually hear us again. So
Holy
he's-
moly. Controls reality. What more do you want? You know?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is like he is.
Hey, I can control reality too. Watch this.
Control.
Did it.
Touch the can. So, all right, guys. Well, I say what we do is we really quickly, we'll just talk about like one thing that we're all watching, and then we're gonna go ahead and get into Joe Dirt.
Yeah.
So, if you've actually been watching anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Matt, you want to go ahead and?
We don't have a stinger for that.
But it's fine. You don't have to.
It doesn't say it.
Is this the humping ladies one? Isn't that the humping lady ones? Oh.
It's, we've been doing, I don't know where it is. We yeah. But anyways, yeah, we found our bumper there. But yeah, so Matt, what have you been watching lately?
Let's see. So I watched The Running Man. So the Arnold Schwarzenegger
Nice. Yeah.
late 80s, based on the Stephen King short, which is being remade, or it's coming out in like November, the remake with Edgar Wright
Yes.
as the director, who's I think my favorite director.
Yeah.
I love almost every one of his movies.
Nice.
Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead,
Yeah.
all that jazz. And then starring, Scott Pilgrim, obviously. And then starring Glenn Powell.
Yes.
So I was like, you know what? It was my birthday yesterday.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to watch that just and chill and watch an old sci-fi. I've been watching a lot of old Arnold movies because I did Predator a couple weeks ago. So, so kick back and I was like, I remember really liking that movie.
Mhm.
Like, I remember being like, this was such a cool movie, such a cool concept.
Running Man or Predator?
Running Man.
Running Man. Okay.
Because the whole premise is that it's super futuristic. The world's gone to shit as it always does in sci-fi movies, and that there's this TV show called The Running Man, which they basically just use as like a death show. And it's just like, if you go on The Running Man, it's basically you're running for your life
Yeah.
from these other killers who are paraded around as like famous people.
Isn't it kind of like American Gladiator where people die?
Yeah, basically. But so it's just like, oh, you have to get through these kind of obstacles. It's they don't really define what you have to do. It's just that you have to survive a period of time or something like that.
Yeah.
And these people are trying to kill you. And they're really cheesy, like over the top. Like one of the guys is like covered in like light boards. And it's literally like little light bulbs all over his body. He's got like a little cheesy hat on. He's this like fat guy. And he shoots like electricity out of his hands.
Cool.
I remember liking this more than I did watching it last night.
Okay.
Because I was just like, this is
too cheesy.
Too cheesy. I mean, Arnold Schwarzenegger is Arnold Schwarzenegger as he was in the late 80s. Like,
yeah,
awesome one-liners, you know.
Yeah.
But it's not a lot of action necessarily, and the action wasn't great because it's just very quick kind of hits and things like that. I haven't reviewed it yet. I'm torn. I might just kind of do it decent because I had it more hyped in my mind than when I watched it.
That's kind of how I felt when I watched Highlander recently, and I was just kind of like,
dude, nostalgia's a hell of a drug, brother.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is. Because I was like, when I gave it, I still gave it like the lowest of most excellence.
Yeah.
Highlander, but it was like I rewatched. I was like, this movie's
cheesy AF.
So cheesy, and like not like a. My problem with it wasn't like self-aware cheesy, like something like Big Trouble in Little China. I'm like, this movie has no idea how bad it is.
Right.
No clue.
Yeah.
So, which I will catch crap for saying.
Yeah. Well, that's I'm probably actually catching crap, or will, like when my review drops.
Right.
Because Xena dropped hers and she did a low rad because there is a lot of cool like 80s stuff. Like it feels, you can kind of feel like the substance. Xena put it in her review, like with all the dancers and things like that feel very and they are. But it's
a lot of
like
lycra,
the
right?
substance and very 80s. Do what?
A lot of lycra happening, spandex outfits.
Yes. And I mean, watching it with like how I didn't react, how I was hoping to react to it, actually gives me a lot of hope, more hope for the remake, because I can see, especially after the Last Night of Soho, like, which was Edgar Wright's most recent movie, and it's been a couple of years. Like, I could see him doing this awesome timepiece, like with all this awesome, especially if they make everyone look a lot cooler and the action steps up some.
Well, and I think it's going to be closer to the book, which was written by Stephen King.
Right. So I haven't read the book yet, but
different, I would imagine.
Yeah, I plan to read it's more of a novella. It's not a full book. It's because it's actually under his pseudonym, Richard Bachman.
Right. Yeah.
So it's more of a short story. So I don't know how much, and that's another thing with the movie. The movie doesn't stop. Like it hits the ground running.
Yeah.
Like the opening scene is the reason he Arnold Schwarzenegger gets imprisoned.
Yeah.
Right.
And it just goes right there. Like it hits the ground running, as you said, Chris, because he's a running man.
Yeah.
It's a fun 80s sci-fi movie, but it didn't age well.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's hard for me to be like, yeah, I loved it.
How does it compare to like Total Recall?
Total Recall is way better.
Yeah.
Just because it's so different, and honestly, I want to try to maybe watch that later tonight or tomorrow again.
Yeah.
Because like that made me really want to watch
Yeah.
Total Recall.
Right.
Right.
So
Yeah. I'm curious. I've never seen this one, and a part of me just kind of wants to not and go in 100% clean
Sure.
for the new one, and just and probably not even read the book to see what they make. And I have a feeling Edgar Wright will stick fairly close to the book if I were to make a guess. So
yeah, I guess it depends
Because
on
I've heard
how
this
much
movie
content
wasn't-
there is.
well, I've heard
Okay.
this movie was not close to the book.
Okay.
Quite different.
I mean, it's very cut and dry because it's easy to compare this movie to things. It's like Death Race. It's like, oh crap. There's another movie that I just blanked on that I had in my mind, but it's a convict is given the opportunity to kill his way out for his
Right.
life, basically.
Gladiator.
How this movie is. So I'll be like Gladiator. Yeah,
I mean,
definitely Gladiator.
convict.
So I'll be curious to read the book and go from there.
Nice.
And then again, directors always take their own go at things. So
Right. And in the chat, Jake asked if Last Night in Soho was good. I like it a lot. My wife liked it a good bit.
Yeah.
Matt, you like it, right?
I wasn't as hot on it as you guys were, if I remember right. We reviewed it
Right.
years ago,
Yeah.
but I think you two were way hotter on it than I was, and I wasn't as cool.
It's
But I
not
think
typical
it's
Edgar.
aged on. I haven't watched it again since, but as I think back on it, I liked it more. But Chris
Yeah.
obviously does not remember.
I don't think I saw it.
It's not typical Edgar Wright, but I like it. I think it's a really solid film.
Yeah.
So I would say check it out. Just don't go in expecting typically what you get with Edgar Wright's other stuff. So
Right.
really quickly, I will just mention I have been watching Shangri-La Frontier. This is another of me going down an anime rabbit hole. I have watched 50 episodes in the past 2 weeks.
Mole.
Yeah. This show is
Nerd.
awesome. I friggin' love it. It's really cool. It's one of these. I know that there's a name for the genre. I don't remember the name of the genre. I'm not that deep into the weeby stuff, but essentially just a guy plays VR. So it takes place in a video game called Shangri-La Frontier. And he is basically known for playing really terrible video games. And so he comes into a god tier game, and he is really, really good at it because he's so used to being very good at terrible video games. So anyways, it takes place in this world. It's very cool. By season 2, I am like all in. This show really goes places, mixes up genres. It takes place in other video games.
Oh,
And
cool.
he's bringing in other people. So like you get fighting video games in VR with this guy and meeting characters and all sorts of other games. The show really does grow. It's really neat. It's like an RPG based show. And so he's playing a role play game, and the game itself is really cool. Honestly, the worst part about the show is that it will make you wish that video games were a whole lot better than they are. That's kind of the weird thing. Man, I wish I could do all of that in video games. And
yeah, if VR was actually like this, it would be successful.
Right, it would be next level. But like everybody that has reviewed this show is the most excellent, except for one person. If that says anything about it, I say that 2 people were one away from a audience verdict. So I will be reviewing. I'll probably be the one who pushes over and listens. Does. But this show's great. I'd probably give it like a 90%. It's the most excellent.
Nice.
It's really good. I like it a lot. So like I said, I've watched like 50 episodes the past 2 weeks.
Nice.
It's super cool. So
cool.
Anyways,
Nice.
if you're into anime, Shangri-La Frontier is good. It's on Crunchyroll. So
cool.
Chris, you made the face of like I haven't been watching anything.
Yeah, I forgot. I did watch 2 things.
Okay.
Ish. So first, I've watched 3 episodes, I think, of one of your favorite animes. Speaking of animes, My Hero Academia. Yeah.
We only watched 3 episodes.
3 episodes out of 158.
Yeah.
So
So I
nearly
was like,
there.
oh.
Yeah. I've just been mainly focusing on my audiobook career. But it's fine so far. Nothing
Fine. I think that the first
mind-blowing.
season is the worst season,
Yeah.
and the first couple episodes are the worst episodes.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, even then,
And
it's
they're not
still
bad. They're
fine.
just
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. It's nothing. Didn't blow my dick off. But
Yeah.
I also watched Stranger Than Fiction.
Yeah.
Which
Huh.
I had never
Will
seen.
Ferrell movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had never seen because everybody I'd talked to said it was like depressing.
Yeah.
But I watched it and it's actually the opposite of depressing. It's actually a really like inspirational movie about like not letting your life just kind of slip on by. Like don't just
Kind of
work
Walter
9 to
Mitty
5.
head.
Exactly.
Or
Yeah.
Yes Man.
Yeah.
Like all these different
Kinda, yeah.
actors are all like, we have to make this inspirational movies.
Right. Yeah. So I enjoyed it. It was pretty good.
Oh,
But yeah,
cool.
that's pretty much it.
Yeah, nice. Well, cool. So I guess you do recommend checking out Stranger Than Fiction then.
Yeah, if you're into that. I mean, there are like depressing themes, but it's nothing like real depressing. It's just
Is
like
it one of those kind of movies where it's like he's really struggling in life, and then something dramatic happens, and it alters the way he looks at things?
it's funnier than that. But
Okay.
yes, it's basically he somehow becomes the main character of a book that an author is writing that is having a writer's block and doesn't figure out, and she is notorious. You learn all this very early in the movie,
Sure.
so I'm not spoiling anything, but she in every one of her books she kills off the main character.
Mhm.
And so he starts hearing her in his voice, and that's kind of where the comedic value comes in. Yeah, thank you. Not in his voice. He's not speaking her voice. But so yeah, that's where it's kind of like dealing with death and suicide and those kind of subjects, but it's
Okay.
not like nothing really heavy.
It's just not a typical Darrow movie.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Honestly, sounds like something I might like because I'm not crazy about most of his movies.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
No, it's pretty good. I'm not even gonna make that comparison. But no, it's good. I would say it is a good. I would say a high decent. That's the one right below most
middle.
excellent, right?
Yeah.
Oh
No,
No, middle is decent. Yeah.
you're talking about Rad then.
Oh,
right
Rad.
below
Yeah.
most excellent.
I would say it's a mid rad.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So pretty good then.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
Sweet.
Cool.
All right. Well, then I think, Matt, we should go ahead and move into our review.
Yeah. Let's go spoiler free then.
Let's do it. All right, so on to the main event of what you came here to halfway hear us talk about, because that might sound so terrible today. But yes, we are going to be talking about the 2001 film Joe Dirt. This is starring David Spade primarily. There are a slew of other folks like Kid Rock who make an appearance, and Christopher Walken even. But this movie's been out for quite some time, and one of the biggest reasons why we wanted to do Joe Dirt is because this is in our critic-hated, audience-loved movie series. This currently has a 9% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 64% by audience versus that 9% by critics. So that I would consider a 9% critic-hated.
Jesus, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty low. So anyways, that is what we're going to be talking about today. This was actually, I thought this was my first time seeing the film until I got about a quarter of the way through and then was like, I have definitely seen this movie and totally forgot. Now, I will say this is not what I would consider my personal typical kind of comedy film, which is probably why it didn't stand out as much. But I think on the second viewing and after comedy has done what it's done over the years, this did land differently for me now. But I definitely also remembered how much that this movie, especially back then, was quoted, which was a lot. There are so many lines from this that were extraordinarily popular, and it makes sense why this was popular among people, but not critics. So yes, so like I said, for me personally, I had seen it, but I think Chris realized that he had never seen it, correct?
Yeah, I have never seen it before, which I kind of knew, but never really thought too much on it. But yeah, never seen it before.
Yeah. And then Matt, you said that you had seen it, but it's been ages.
Yeah, I knew I had seen this probably in high school or early college, but I'd only seen it maybe once, maybe parts of it on TV. This was not a movie I was seeking out, and I don't think my friend group like quoted this one that much.
Okay.
So it wasn't something where I was super familiar with all the quotes
Okay.
that people are like talking about.
Same.
I'm surprised you didn't.
Yeah.
Because obviously we were in similar circles. There were like so many things from this, which maybe
Yeah.
I guess it was more of my high school circle and not
Right.
our like out of school circle as much. But like the people in high school definitely, especially like you like to see homos naked. That one constant. That was one came up a whole lot. Yeah, that was among many. Also, like why don't we want to talk to a microphone? Like that one, like also very common.
Yeah.
I mean, and we're from the South. This was like Joe Dirt is a national hero around these parts.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He lives down the street from me,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah,
Oh, I'm sure.
yeah, especially where you grew up. I mean, that was Joe Dirt country.
Yeah,
you
buddy.
know?
Yep.
So, yeah, there's so many lines in this. I pulled up some of the quotes from this movie, and I'm just like laughing, even looking at it, because it's like one of those things where my son happened to walk in on a part where he says, he's like, "Oh, you want to fight?" He's like, "Why don't you stick your head up my butt and fight for air?" And like, Like my son was cackling like a freaking lunatic, thought it was the funniest thing he'd ever heard. And so there are a lot of those lines that are just very much catered to immature spirits. So
Yeah.
Which there's 3 of them here. So
yeah. I guess so. The question now is, where do we all land on Joe Dirt, and when our Criticless reviews go in, where do we land? Because also, if you wanted to know, currently on Criticless, Joe Dirt is sitting at an 84% by 18 people. So 84% is super high. Matt's wife, Wine Fiend, gave it a 90%. Jaja Binks knew that we were going to be reviewing it, gave it an 88%. For the users, also 88. We got Fergusonian with a 92%. And yeah, he says the name says it all. Simple, crude, yet oddly entertaining or endearing. And Elmo, who's in the chat, or was at least said
he was.
Also,
oh, he was
that,
a minute ago.
Yeah, also really liked it and dug the movie as well at 84%, really high. So really, Common Sense and Ninja Waiter both 49s and 59s. The 2 most predictable individuals in this entire app for giving it even a remotely low score. And actually, if you know these 2, then a decent is a very high score.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, 59's not low.
Right, no.
Right.
Well, not for these 2 especially. But yes, it's got a lot of praise within the app, to say the least. And as far as our more recent ones, these have all clocked in, the top quite a few within the past couple of days. So yeah, we appreciate you guys coming in and dropping your reviews. It's nice to have an official score here. We're not used to having official scores when we review things because it tends to always be these new movies. So yeah, we've got a lot of reviews for this. And so where do we sit with that? I guess, Chris, you're the perfect one to start with because this was your very first time seeing the movie.
It was a totally fine movie. It had funny parts, and it was entertaining to go back to 2001. Man,
yeah,
those towers coming down, never forget, brother. But yeah, I mean, it's just that the type of comedy that would never exist anymore, of like retard and queer, like all of these terms being thrown that nobody says anymore in movies. Around here we say it all around here, but yeah, I don't know, it was just interesting. It was just a little hop back in time, but I would probably put it in the 60s, give it a 69. Just real nice, because it is what it is. It didn't blow my dick off. I'm not going to go back and probably rewatch it ever again, but it's pretty funny.
Love it, but you're like, it's not a bad movie.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not a bad movie. It is what it is. I mean, you have to go in expecting this type of ridiculous, silly, stupid comedy. Yeah,
it's definitely of its time for sure. For good and for bad, and very much of its style of humor. And this is very much a very specific type of comedy. And it's one of those where it reminds me of the era of like Adam Sandler in his heyday. That is this type of comedy.
It plays to the extremes.
Yeah.
In every sense. Like the rednecks are the most redneck people. The bullies are the most bully people, that their entire existence just revolves around picking on people. The hot chicks are the most bimboist, like
40.
It's just everything is up to the max. So and that's just extremity humor. That's not a thing, but
extremity
I made it up.
humor.
Extremity
humor on the dicks.
Yeah, it is very much that. So and Matt, if you don't know, Matt hates humor. He hates when things are funny. So if he likes this, then you know that it's going to be one of 2 things. It's either that it's actually really good, or you're going to hate it. So Matt, where do you sit with this movie? Is it funny?
It is funny.
Yeah.
This is my level of like in the dirt humor.
We found it.
Like it's just because David Spade does such a good job of just being sincere about it, and I think that's why it works so well in this movie, because it is just lowbrow humor continuously, but it's his like innocent ignorance, but also being wholesome all at the same time somehow. Like it just works so well, and it's so random and off the cuff. Like I still, like, even before we watched this movie, the main thing I remember was that Christopher Walken's in it.
Yeah.
And that I was just like, I love him in this role. I couldn't remember what the role was.
Right.
I couldn't remember anything about it. And then we got to it and I was like, oh, I totally remember this. This is fantastic. So for me, like, I don't know. It's just, I think it's the most excellent movie.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how, like, where in the most excellent. I don't think I'll do above 90.
Right.
Probably like in the mid 80s or something like that is where I'm going to sit with it.
But a high-ranging comedy film.
Yeah. And I mean, don't get me wrong. This isn't like I'm not rolling on the floor laughing.
Yeah.
But there was plenty of times where it had me
Like a
cackling, or at least getting me like off guard, like
yeah, like you just
kind of
don't
thing.
expect it. And it's
Right.
just like, oh, that was so stupid and therefore very funny.
Yeah.
So yeah, there is a lot of that.
Yeah.
And so Chris, you said you're kind of a lower rad. Matt, you're a mid most excellent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And I think I really don't know yet. I'm either a low most excellent or a high rad.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think probably a high rad, just because this isn't exactly
Low rad? Oh no, high rad. Sorry.
High rad,
Sorry,
yeah. This isn't exactly my type of comedy.
Yeah.
But I do not think this is a bad movie. Now, when it started, I was like, oh no, am I gonna not like this? Like when it first got going, I was like, I might have like moved out of, because I find myself not being as much into that, like just this genre of comedy. I don't even know what to call it. As the older I get.
I already came up with a name.
What is it?
Extremity.
Extremity comedy.
Yeah.
Yes. Extremity comedy. Yeah. Whatever that is, it's just, I find the older I get and even back in this time, I was still, and it wasn't quite in the same time, but close. I was more into that like Judd Apatow era, like type of comedy, and the Seth Rogen and all of those guys, the Saw stuff and the Clerks and that was all like my type.
Right.
Sure.
Of comedy. And that was when we were growing up, it was more of the type of stuff that we watched.
For sure.
Too. And so I don't know. Yeah, but I appreciate it now, I think, more than I did back then.
Yeah.
Because obviously it didn't make a huge imprint back then.
Right. And it's like you said earlier, like this comedy doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
And I do think that hard, like, really puts a perspective on this. Like, I think if people went and watch this for the first time now, especially older people, I don't know if younger people would appreciate this at all.
Yeah.
But I think older people would probably watch this and go, wow, this is not something that's a thing anymore.
Right. And Jake in the chat said he literally became best friends with a ball of shit. How is this not 90%? Like, that is an excellent.
I mean, fair. You know, you got me there.
Yeah.
What can I say?
And then he had a shit missile.
Yes, dude.
Literal.
And so that was, of course, like, it was around that same time when my son walked in. I was like, you gotta go. You can't stay in there. Because it was like some of it where I was like, this is a brother. He can stay in. He hasn't seen this kind of comedy. He'll get a good laugh out of it. And then there was the scene where he's strapped to the rocket and he was like, all right, no, I'm strapped to this rocket. Show me your tits. And of course, my son was just like,
this works?
Hold on.
I'm going to do this.
Are you telling me that this is a tactic that one might use?
Incoming Unabomber. Just to see boobies.
For real. Yeah, if it was anybody, it would, oh man, yeah. So he thought that was hilarious. And I was like, all right, gotta go.
But so, okay. What range, what age do you think this is acceptable for that humor? Like, are we talking like teenagers? Like low teenagers? Okay. Yeah.
Unless you grew up in my family.
Yeah.
It's like
Then you have to get
20,
college.
23. Yeah.
Once you're out of the house.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of those like 12 or 13. It's low brow humor.
Yeah.
There is just the one like teased sex scene in the movie, which is where it was.
Yeah.
And then the headboard rocking and the I just slept with my sister.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
Yeah, it's actually surprisingly clean whenever it comes to nudity.
Yeah.
Like whenever you think about like Harold Kumar or like there's like those kind of movies have so much. Yeah, they have so many just boobs everywhere, tits for days. But this one didn't show a thing. No tits.
Yeah.
Side boob.
Yeah. Underside boob.
Underside boob. Yeah, it was a weird like 3/4 angle.
It was.
I'm not a cinematographer.
Backwards side ankle, just so you don't show nip, but you get like the full roundness. It was impressive.
Enough.
Very impressive ankle.
Yeah, it won an Oscar for cinematography.
It's been a long time figuring out the angles there.
Somebody needs a raise. That was impressive.
True.
I applaud that under backside boob.
For it to still be like TV-able.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Right. It's impressive.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, I'm pretty sure that's how I saw it the first time.
On TV.
Probably just on Comedy Central or something like that. And I was like, I'll watch this. Whatever.
Right.
And I was like, oh, it's not bad. Because I think that was my impression from the first time I saw it, was like, this isn't bad. It's just whatever.
Right.
Not obviously not something I saw it out and showed other people like, I gotta watch this.
Yeah.
Right. It just lands differently now. This movies like
Yeah.
this hit totally different now after not getting much comedy.
Yeah. Of this
Of
style.
this type.
Yeah.
It's just all very different from this. So yeah, it's good to know that we're all fairly high on it. It
Yeah.
sounds like so
Yeah.
we all like it pretty well. And so I mean, really, it's like this movie's old as crap. It's like over 20 years old. So as far as spoiler talk, I would say we just go ahead and just move on into spoilers because you know if you're here and you haven't seen it, watch it. You know, and it's a comedy movie, so
Yeah.
whatever.
All right, spoilers. Here we go.
Let's do it. But yeah, and I was really curious because I didn't look into this a ton. I didn't realize that this was actually Denny Gordon, I guess, is the director, but it sounds like it was a lady who directed this, which I would have never guessed
Hey.
that there was a female director
Good
on a
facts.
movie like this. That definitely did not see that coming.
Right.
But and then David Spade wrote it with a guy named Fred Wolf. So and he's done mostly comedies and stuff.
Okay.
Like Black Sheep, Without a Paddle, and stuff. So
Yeah.
he's part of that writing team
Yeah.
of these group of
Right. Adam Sandler stuff.
guys. But
Chris Farley.
also,
Yeah.
can I just say, I mean, Jamie Presley looking pretty foxy in this movie. Mad props.
Dude,
Looks great.
always. Yeah.
And then also Brittany Daniel also looks fantastic. She's just a smoke show as well. She looked really good. Who was the other love interest?
Yeah.
Brandy.
Brandy.
Yeah, she was Brandy. And Kid Rock looks pretty much exactly like he does now, and it's trashy as all.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing.
He killed his role.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just a douchey Kid Rock.
Which
Yeah.
I forgot he was in it. And I was like, oh, Kid Rock.
Yeah.
What?
And now, I mean, he's like hanging out with the president. So, you know, he's moving his way up in the world.
Well,
as,
is it though?
as
Yeah.
we live in idiocracy, I guess, at this point where
Yeah.
where he's hanging out at the White House. It's honestly hilarious. And apparently, I don't know if y'all saw the photos. There's like some kind of mega piano in the White House that's like a gajillion feet long.
Of course.
And
What?
it's Kid Rock like playing the piano. I guess he really plays the piano, and he was like rocking out.
Hilarious.
Which what they did actually was pretty interesting. I don't know if y'all saw why they brought him in was actually to sign a some kind of order that essentially cracks down on all of the ticket scalping for all of these artists that's been happening
Hmm.
to where you can't get tickets to shows. They're
Yeah.
actually, I guess, like made it illegal now or something as far as like how it's done with maybe the bots and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I guess they're cracking down on it. So it was interesting.
So he signed it?
No, he was just brought in as like honorary like musician
Oh, okay.
that was connected to someone that made Trump aware of this issue that is happening.
Gotcha.
And so because a lot of bands have been complaining about it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I mean, yeah. Well,
Ticketmaster is Beelzebub.
so many like Taylor Swift and all that is a prime example where their scalpers just scoop up all the tickets and they're just gone instantly. They resell them for like triple the cost because they know there aren't any available.
Yep.
There was a rock band. I think we talked about it. Sleep Token, I think.
Yeah,
Couple weeks ago had the same thing.
really.
Like it was just mayhem for their tickets, and then they were all sold out. And now scalpers are throwing them up there, being like, "Hey, there you go, guys, triple the price.
Yeah.
Go see Sleep Token."
That's a bummer.
So, yeah.
So I guess one of the things that I wanted to touch on are I guess two of them, and I do find it interesting. We've been having so many weird issues today where I keep turning pink. I'm not sure what's causing that either.
Yeah.
But I keep looking around. I'm like, well, why am I turning pink? But something is not adjusting here. So it's one of the things that I wanted to mention was I guess with us being true Southerners around here, and Matt being like an adopted Southerner around
Yeah.
all of this time, outside of how he says, "How you doing?"
Hey, how you doing?
Hello. There is that, but he's an adopted
Yeah.
Southerner at this point. But I was curious to see going back to this, like, does this actually is it representative and respectful of Southern ways and our trashiness that we actually like self-ascribe to, or is it more of like Hollywood like crapping on us? And personally, I felt like it's actually pretty solid. Like he's not painted in a crappy light. He's very endearing. Like you were
Yeah.
talking
He's a
about.
sweet guy. I mean, really, they don't focus on it that much. It's really the story of him trying to find it, right?
Mhm.
So like all of the towns that he goes to, he's the odd man out. So really the main focus of redneckdom or Southern hospitality is just Joe. So,
Right.
and he's painted in a great light. He's a sweet dude, aside from him asking to show tits by threatening to blow people up with a nuclear bomb. But I mean, you know,
Listen,
that's not the most gentleman thing to do, but he's still like a nice guy, and
Yeah, he
you
was
know,
just having
doesn't
a
take
weak moment
advantage.
there. He's just like, I'm a man.
Right.
Can't help it right now.
Wow.
Just had to,
holy crap!
Hmm.
I just thought about something.
what?
People have been asking for us to do a low effort ship missile badge in the app.
Yeah.
Would a low effort ship missile badge that was literally a shit missile that he was attached to,
Yeah.
should we make it a Joe Dirt badge where it's shooting the shit out of the missile over his head?
That would be hilarious. Because we could just do it where it's like the mullet, where you don't do his face or anything. It's just like the mullet or something.
right.
Maybe on the side of a missile with poop coming out or something like that.
Right.
Because I mean, I don't think we could full on do like a Joe Dirt face. There's probably
Maybe.
infringement or something there.
Coward.
Yeah. We just
Scared to
had
get sued.
I mean,
Yeah. They haven't found us yet.
You could also do like the
Yeah.
whole skull. It's just a skull with the wig.
the mullet.
Yeah.
Right. And then
True.
the ship
True.
missile. Yeah,
Yeah.
but this movie actually has a ship missile, and I would consider it a low effort one at that, because he wasn't even smart enough to know that it was just you know,
A turd.
a turd.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, no, well, there was the turd, but that one was a canister full of turds. It was from an RV, I think is what they said.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Sorry, that missile. Yeah.
That's an
I
actual
gotcha.
missile.
There's a lot of shit in this movie, so you know.
Oh, yeah.
I got the poo on me.
Yeah. Excessive.
You know, that made me think of, like Jackass, where they do like the ones where they're in the toilet,
The
and
porta
they're, like,
potties.
the
Yeah.
porta potty like sling and things like that, where they're just covered in shit.
Yeah.
Love it. See, that's the thing, is that's my level of humor. Like I think of the Jackass and stuff like that, where it's
Right.
poop humor is funny humor, and that's
It
where
is.
they were like, this is funny humor, like the whole asteroid that he's like best friends with, and you're like, oh, he's like his best friend asteroids. That's so cool, and then it's a shit asteroid.
And he ate off it.
You're just like, oh man, yeah, he ate off it and all
Delicious.
that jazz.
So yeah, no, I like the way that he was presented. I thought it was done really well. He is this character is a very much a hero of the the southern
Yeah,
white
well,
trashness.
And then you have the alternate side of that, which is his parents, who are like the biggest asshole, like, which also fit the
Right.
stereotype that are out there, where it's just people that are looking to do anything to, better themselves, get money, blah blah
Yeah.
blah. So,
Well, and the best part was they were out in California.
well, they moved there, but yes,
But but that's the thing, was they were living there for a long time, and they went from Louisiana to California.
right,
So technically, I'm gonna call them Californians.
okay, that's fair.
So,
It's
that's
just
what I'm
people.
going with.
People are people. They're all assholes. Oh, especially
Right.
like the fucking DJ guy,
He was
like the
such a dude.
biggest asshole.
He got nicer as it
He
went.
did.
Right.
Joe won him over, but
Well, I think the whole world won him over.
Got
Won over.
got won
Joe.
over.
Well,
Yeah,
got won
yeah.
over by Joe,
yeah.
because that was the thing, and I think that because I'm guessing that DJ was supposed to be Howard Stern-esque.
Maybe.
Well, I think that's maybe what they were
Yeah,
going
Just a
for.
stereotype.
Which you talk
Yeah.
about, like, of its time, and geez, imagine when like radio was relevant. Holy crap.
Right.
Like now, if this movie was made, it would be a podcast.
Yeah.
Like it would be, and he'd be.
Yeah.
If it was done one for one, it would be that he was a janitor in one of these like far left podcasts where they're just giant douches to people that are, dumber than them and from the South. And
Yeah.
whatever, and it's out in California and
Right. Still, California is still the place to.
still.
They don't have to change location.
Yeah.
They just have to change
That's right.
the what it is, the
Right.
studio.
Right. But yeah, I think all in all, it's a fun movie. It's
Yeah.
goofy. The
Yeah.
plot is nothing crazy. It's pretty simple. Man, I keep turning more and more pink. This is
Dude.
wild. I look like
It
I have
is.
a freaking bottle of Pepto-Bismol.
Dude, turn the C off
Yeah,
behind you.
I know. Maybe that'll fix it. There is this is like techno that instantly fixed it.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yep.
I'm white again.
Thank the Lord.
pink. It was a little more gay that way.
Jeez. But yeah, it's a Damn it, Matt.
Well, his name is Matt, so what can you expect?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I can't wait to go upstairs and tell Xena that I'm actually gay.
Exactly. Yeah, man, it's just really though the level of like Wald. What I appreciate and what I like the most, and where it wins the most points, is like how packed full of jokes it is. stupid they might be. I mean, we have a whole thing of like Silence of the Lambs bit where he's like
Right.
in a hole in the ground.
Right.
Yeah. Put
It's-
the lotion on the skin.
Yeah, and he's like, say it, don't spray it, brother.
Yeah.
Hey, he's like, well, it actually wasn't that bad. You know, it wasn't that bad.
Right.
My time there was pretty great.
Yeah.
But I mean, that is the endearing factor of Joe Dirt. And
Yeah.
for the user's review, I hadn't read it yet because I didn't want to like paint my like fresh thoughts on it. But I believe she goes into an in-depth discussion about the Taoist like faith or the ideologies that are kind of in this movie. And as I just saw somebody mention that, I think I'm just good movies like commented on it. That's all I saw. But it makes sense like watching this movie because he has such of like a it doesn't matter. They even mentioned like it's in the past.
Whatever. Like,
Yeah.
with, the whole movie is depicted in that way.
Right.
That's a good point.
Oh man, Elmo the Red brought up the Auto Trader
Oh, yeah.
articles. I remember being so excited
Dude.
to like grab one of those at a store randomly. I wasn't driving. I was just a kid. I just wanted to look at the cars though, and be like, what's for sale?
Yeah.
And I would do the same thing he did. So for me, that like hit home. I'd be like, man, I remember looking at these and be like, that's a cool car. It's only $5,000. I'll
Yeah.
have that in time for my first car.
Right.
I did not. But that was just I totally forgot about those until this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much that man, it's just it really does land well, and this movie goes places all over the place.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, and I like how it did bring it up in these little bits of like him being in the radio show, and then it's a good balance of like the movie never stops rolling, and it just keeps chugging along. And it was funny because like I keep talking about with the kids, like they would walk in and out while I was watching this, and they kept just being like, "This looks like the best movie ever," and like they just every time they came in, they heard a joke, laughed, and they're like, "All right, I don't know what next is going to be inappropriate."
Yeah.
Right.
But also remember being a kid and
Right.
anything that you weren't allowed to watch was the most interesting thing
Oh yeah.
in the world.
Uh-huh.
Like you had to watch it. It was probably the greatest. You're going to remember every little millisecond that you got to see anything of it.
Oh,
So,
literally, yeah, putting my son on blast. So literally,
Well, I mean, he did this all himself, so
he did. This
yeah.
is so on brand for him. But he, he like I said, he walked in on the part where he's like, "All right, now let me see them boobs," and I was putting him to bed, and I was like, "All right, dude, good night." And he's like, "Hey, come here." And I was like, "What's up, dude?" And he's like, "Can I tell you something?" And I like got down low, and he's like, "Make sure when you see mom, tell her you won't see them boobs."
That's gonna be his new catchphrase.
God.
You're gonna call from school and be like, he told the teacher to let me see them boobs.
Yeah. I was just like, "God dang it, I want to laugh. I can't." And then of course it doesn't help that my like today my daughter was like, she's like, "Dad, I'm pretty sure you're the worst influence ever." So, I was like, "Well,
True.
I am a child, so yeah. But yeah, it's he's definitely going to end up watching this. And before we started Criticless, and we don't share a ton of pictures of the kids, but before we started Criticless, he was notorious for having a really good mullet. So like,
heck yeah.
yeah, my son had a killer mullet. Actually, Chris had a killer mullet for a while too.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I could totally see him rewatching this movie when he's around 12 and just embodying this entire persona like going forward.
For sure.
So,
Which isn't bad.
I
you
can
know?
see that.
his persona. So
True. Yeah.
if we're to be honest, but yeah, man, I think younger people should totally watch this movie and like just enjoy and that does seem to be the thing that I'm seeing with like Gen Z apparently is going through this big movement of tired of everything just being like handled with kid gloves and being neutered and lame and just uninteresting, and they're kind of like ready for things to be just kind of uncensored and funny and like the reins to be pulled back. And so I could see comedies like this having a huge resurgence and then it bringing them back into the industry.
Well, and that's why I'm glad this is finally streaming, because we talked about reviewing this like a month ago or 2 months ago, and it wasn't on anything. And this is one of those movies where you're not going to seek this out. This isn't a movie people are sitting around discussing.
Yeah.
Because it is an older, raunchier comedy. And the thing is that it wasn't on anything. So nobody's going to just go, "Oh, what's this Joe Dirt? Like, this is a ridiculous looking movie," and just watch it. So hopefully it's going to be floating around a little more so that people can start checking it out.
Yeah, I would hope so. And definitely read some of our reviews, like Matt mentioned, with for the users in the app. And like I said, we have people from the chat in here as well, like Elmo the Red, who's given it reviews. And a lot of these people have some really cool write-ups for this movie and actually have a lot to say and that just really enjoy it. And obviously we regularly talk about Ivan's good movies because he's just our notorious long reviewer and really going into detail. And he wrote a heck of a review for this
Yeah.
one back and gave it a 92. And this is like one of his favorite movies. So, which is actually kind of funny and interesting because he is Australian. And from everything I've heard, essentially Australians are just Southern people,
Right.
in a nutshell. So it would make sense that he would like this. And, and that's what I've heard is that basically if Australians come to America, they just move to the South and do it right at home, except for with more rights.
Right.
So, yeah. But is there anything else you guys wanted to dig in on this one? I know this
Well,
like
so-
a super long, dense movie.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. Is there anything you guys didn't like about the movie?
All right, so I'll point out the one continuity error
Sure.
that I found in this was
Okay.
at the very beginning
Huh?
when he's driving to the radio station. They make it seem as if that is him going in for his daily shift, but we later find out that he lives in the boiler room. So it's like
And works there.
exactly
Right,
like
so
he
he was
lives in
going
the
in for
boiler room
work,
of
right.
the place where he works. So it's like, where was he coming
Well, and
from? They
also-
made it seem like he was just driving in for his, his regular shift from home,
Mhm.
Right.
driving into work.
He did later on say he has multiple houses,
He did.
multiple spots he stays.
He did.
True. Yeah.
So
that's
I
fair.
think he's more of just like a vagabond.
Transient.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So
Oh, yeah.
while he's working, he's posted up at work. On the weekends, he probably goes and lives wherever it was he said he lived.
Under the bridge.
It's
Yeah.
probably
Right.
some hot chick somewhere. 'Cause
Probably.
apparently he just like lays pipe constantly with just smoking
But he
hot.
does it
you
though.
saw him though, like, well, if it's his sister, he does.
Yeah,
True.
But you saw him at the carny, man. He was all skin
yeah.
and bones. That's just,
Yeah. that scene has also become super iconic.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
has.
Everything about that. Yeah, so I guess your point, Chris, was that like in that scene, it didn't feel like potentially continuity with the rest of it. It's like
Since he sleeps there and it's like first thing in the morning, where's he coming from? I mean, I'm just making
Sure.
assumptions here.
Sure.
They made it seemed like he was just driving into work for the
Right.
first time, and then
I
we
think
found
it
out he
was-
lives there.
right. I think it was how they wanted to present it. It's like he could
Yeah.
have been going to get groceries or whatever. It's like we
Yeah.
don't know. Like it was one of those things where I think that they wanted to show off the trashy car. They
Right.
wanted to like show him arriving at work. That was the
Yeah.
vibe they wanted to give.
Mm,
And
Right.
that everybody treats him like an asshole, like
Yeah.
the most extreme.
Yeah.
Well, that was when I was worried I wasn't gonna like it. 'Cause, like
Yeah.
when he encounters that terrible acting guard.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh,
Yeah.
this is what we're in for.
I'm saying, man, it's
Right.
just the most extremes of everything. It's
Crank
like,
up to 10. And then exactly the first time he enters the guy or talking to the guy in the studio, and he's just like, "Oh, so what is a little piece of stinky shit like you have to do?" Like,
Yeah.
it's like, oh my god, like what?
But it all makes sense when you step back and be like, oh, it's because Joe Dirt is actually this super likable, easygoing. And if you want to get like philosophical with it, when you
Please do.
encounter people like that, there's so many people that have these adverse like reactions to them where they're such personalities
Right.
where they're
Yeah.
like, oh, I hate that person. Why? Because he's just not, he doesn't care.
right.
Right.
He doesn't care about having money. He doesn't care about life.
Yes. I
mean,
relate
yeah,
to
your
Joe Dirt.
truck is what, like 20 years old? And I think you said you've never washed it.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. I don't
So
care.
you're
about
like a
money.
Joe Dirt, but with the real
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm kind of Joe Dirty.
Yeah.
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 That's what we should call your truck. I know you don't name your vehicles and
Yeah.
stuff, but that'd be a good name for it.
Joe.
It is a good one.
Yeah.
I don't name them anymore. I haven't named this one, I should say.
There you go. We just named it.
It's a little late to name this one at this
True.
point. I mean, it's
I've
like
had it for a
Give it
decade.
long.
You're saying that it's a Toyota. It'll probably go for another 20 years. You'll probably like replace the engine.
Yeah,
Sell
well,
it.
it's funny. Like I was having a lot of mechanical issues
Yeah.
with it. A lot of clanking. I think one of like a few of the teeth off the gearbox. Anyways, it somehow has magically fixed itself. It doesn't like make the rattling noise anymore.
Nothing
I
like that
just
Japanese
look,
magic.
if you ignore it enough, it'll just go away. That's how I treat all my problems.
That's exactly how engines work.
Yeah.
I've heard.
Yeah. It just shoots out all the bad parts and we're good.
Yeah. Those are extra. They actually weren't required
Nah.
in any sort of way.
Who
And
needs
Matt, you never saw it, but Chris used to have a truck very similar.
Yeah.
the horsemobile?
Yeah, it was called the Horsemobile because a horse tried to eat it and it had horse teeth marks drugged down the hood of it.
Yeah.
He was also back then very Joe Dirt.
Yeah.
He drove the Horsemobile.
Oh.
Yeah.
Um,
It's good stuff.
yeah,
It was a Toyota pickup.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It
Yeah.
wasn't a.
It was
T-
the
it wasn't a T.
T100,
No,
right?
no. It was
Oh.
not a T1000.
Oh.
It was just a Toyota pickup.
You know what sucks for you though? The next
Everything?
truck
Oh.
you get. Well, they still have Tacomas. I
No.
can't think if they have just single cabs anymore.
Oh no, I'm not
So-
going to get a new one. I'm going to be buying some.
You'll get like the same exact model, just one that you found in the garage.
The next
somewhere.
thing that I'm going to be getting is like a 1970s, 80s Defender. That's what I'll be getting.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
moving over to Land Cruiser. Got a little money saved up now, so I can
Okay.
afford it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you actually gonna take care of it?
Now.
You're gonna like run it into the ground too?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. That makes sense. That checks out.
God, Neckernall's in here as well.
No.
Is Blaine's mic even on? I really want to
Yeah,
know.
apparently
Is
it's
it
just
you?
your mic that's not working.
Right. So is it? Do we think that it's not working?
I mean, it's
No.
not working. I was being.
Are there
texted.
buttons on the side that you can press to like?
No, that's only if you're plugged
buttons?
into the
Talking.
Hello.
like it. That's only if you're plugged into the computer. So you weren't plugged in.
Y'all ready for this?
This is why we can't start.
We
Because you
might
were just like
be
rushing.
the largest collection of retards on the internet.
Don't bring me into this.
No, I blame Matt.
There we go.
at
I don't
his
even know
house.
why I was
How
on-
did even.
Oh, 'cause last time you.
It
This was Blaine's fault.
It was my fault.
It's not my
Yep.
fault.
This
Typically,
was my fault.
Yeah,
yes.
last time Blaine
I,
wanted to use your mic instead of his because his was at home, so he like unplugged his, plugged yours in, and
I
he never
wish-
replugged it back in.
I wish that I had realized that it was that bad. I just thought that it sounded like shit. I didn't realize that literally y'all were just hearing me through another microphone.
If only you listen to the people. you know?
I was watching the chat trying to figure out.
Hmm.
And
I didn't realize it was just you. I know they kept being like, "Oh, you guys'
I know.
microphone work," but I didn't realize they specifically were like. I mean, I guess they
when
did say that, but we're
he
all
said, "Is
idiots.
my mic on?" That was when that was my signal. Why did all of you dipshits in the chat not
Wow.
say that exact?
Look at
You're
this.
all responsible for this.
This guy is
I take
gaslighting
no responsibility.
everybody.
This is all it took was one true champion to hop in here, the YouTube expert extraordinaire, and this could have been fixed forever ago. So Jake Stanley, you're to blame. You should take
I blame Blue
responsibility.
Blaze. Yeah, that's right.
Well, who's the one who pointed it out?
Yeah, it was
That
it was
they
Jake.
couldn't- that you- Okay, well, you need to like give him a free month of premium or whatever we call.
I actually think he should. I don't know. He might need to be banned because he didn't ask if
This
my
is the
mic was on. That was
opposite.
what needed to be asked.
Yeah,
No
people,
one
you have to
asked.
ask to use the right words.
Yeah.
Okay. If we don't understand, we're very thick.
Jeez.
Like
There's
I
a reason
said,
we like this movie so much.
You
We're
are
thick.
It's just-
We gotta also just looked at
you
the
could have, Chris,
the shiny
my
lights.
computer's been covering it up.
Yeah.
this whole time.
I don't
blame
think this is your
Chris.
fault too.
Everyone
I
else should
shouldn't have
hurry
said
up and take
anything.
responsibility for this shit.
Look, there's
because
a
I refuse.
there's an orb in the way. I can't see past the orb.
The orb of Ostobox.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in the way.
Well, so now
Well,
after all of this time,
let's
you
start
guys,
over. Let's do this
yeah,
again.
we
Come
should
on.
start
All right, from the top, everybody.
Yeah,
All right,
we're just.
I'm Matt.
Yep. Here we go back.
We're gonna have to change
Alright,
that. It's
so,
actually technology for boomers now.
Everybody donate the same amount of money you did again.
Yeah, we're
Have a
gonna need a
complete
repeat of all of what just happened. That's so wild. So to explain what actually happened is that Chris wasn't here last week, and then I forgot my microphone last week. So we unplugged a bunch of stuff. I took your microphone, changed the location, all of this stuff.
Mm.
When you got here, apparently other cords just didn't get situated.
Yeah, so-
like, Jake, thank you for becoming a member. It took me my microphone working for you to come in here.
He just really had to hear your voice.
yeah.
Be
I
like,
just-
yes, I will join.
He was like in the chat. He kept being like, "Listen, if you put headphones on, you can kind of hear what Blaine's saying."
God.
Also, let's just reference the fact of how loud Blaine is,
Yeah.
that he can be picked up enough for the show to move on in
Yeah,
our mics.
Especially because our mics are like directional.
Right.
Yeah.
So technically, like it's only picking up like a cone of sound right here
Exactly.
in my face. It's pretty impressive, Blaine. You are very loud.
I am extraordinarily loud. So I'm glad that y'all can all hear me now, and I'm impressed that you could all hear me at all before. But like they said, it's not a surprise because I'm always the loudest person in the room. I was probably picking up more than Chris on his own mic.
Probably. Yep.
Well
Oh,
then.
God. Well,
I
this
love
just
how we were
in
like,
time.
we're good. We got this
Yeah.
all set up.
We
We,
got-
were like, the video is presenting right. We're good. No, we forget to plug in a microphone. Of
Yeah.
all the things to forget.
I love how you started off the show with being like, we've got things figured out. It's all under control now, guys. I think we know.
We're gonna delete this entire thing from our channel at this point.
Oh,
Nothing will be
I
lost.
love it. We're so good at this whole YouTubing thing. I
Oh,
love
man.
it. Man, we've had so many problems over the years.
Absolute professionals.
yeah.
There's not a stream where shit doesn't go sideways for sure.
I told you. You need to donate towards making us
Well,
smarter, not the
yeah,
hardware.
if this
The
doesn't-
hardware's fine.
Yeah, it is. Well, if this doesn't explain what happened, Zena's in this house. She said she could hear me upstairs, not on the microphone. So
It checks out.
yeah, also
Yeah.
accurate.
Man.
Well, we're professionals. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. I'm glad that we are so good at this. Which, if anyone knows, I am on other shows, also known as the most professional shows on YouTube, which is Drunk 3PO's Monday Hangover, which is, let's be straight, it's not as unprofessional as this show, but adjacent. And then I'm on a show with Beardo, so, with Bro Science, and that's all I need to say. Which also, if you guys have not seen the stuff coming out of Vegas currently, Beardo was caught live singing to the Backstreet Boys for an entire group of people, and it's pretty fantastic. So
my man,
yeah, he's killing it. But yeah, well, now we need to know to just maybe follow the checklist to make sure our microphones work.
Yeah, let's use that checklist.
So
we haven't used it in forever after they put a lot of hard work into it for us.
Real professional. So anyways,
all right.
Last thing we wanted to touch on here was the critics were the critics, was the critics right?
Hell no.
About this. Does it deserve a 9%? I mean, really?
No.
This is wild and just such an insanely low. They clearly brutalize this crass, formulaic comedy with bullying and cartoonish violence. And the interesting thing is, this statement was made all the way back in 2015. That was at the start of the wokeness movement,
right?
But it is interesting that people are like, get out of here. But it's clear that the critics, even back then, were soft as baby shit.
Yeah, but so the thing is, I can kind of understand where they're coming from if you don't step back and go, hey, look at who Joe Dirt is. Like, he's a super easygoing guy who is the target of being bullied. Like, it just is his like kind of lot in life, but he makes the best of it. And for whatever reason, these critics are like, no, we're can't handle this, even though it's shows like it's all works out in the end, and like he gets everything he deserves.
Yeah,
right.
So maintaining a positive attitude pays off.
Right.
Yeah, it's just looking at all these reviews, it is funny because it's just avoid this garbage like the plague. I mean, these guys did just absolutely ravage it. And I mean, it is like lowbrow, goofy, dumb humor, but it's like that for a reason. It's clearly intentional. And I'm not saying that there's not like problems with it. It's not a problem-free movie, but it is what it is, and it wears it on its sleeve. Like, this movie knows what it is. It set out to do that, and I think it did that well.
Yeah.
And
I think it's like you're saying, like, this is a movie of extremes. Or Chris, you were saying this earlier. Like, they're all extremes and caricatures of these ideas. Like the whole idea that his hair is actually kind of a skull cap wig. Yeah. Like he had glued on when he was, or surgically added when he was a kid. Like, it's all done
ridiculous
on purpose and done my books well. I saw some people being like, "Oh, David Spade is a flat and like this is just boring."
I don't think he does great.
Right. Well, I'm just telling you what the critics say. Right. Because I mean, I don't agree with them, but here we are. So,
which you said that a woman directed this, right?
Yeah.
See, so really, it's just the critics are being sexist.
They are,
and we're the woke ones here, and we support female directors.
True. We're on it.
True.
Yeah.
True. Supporting women.
Progressive, we are.
Yeah. I mean, if we're anything, we're known for loving women, being supportive, nurturing, caring, and that's what we want.
That 3/4 angle backside boob. That's what we like.
Just show us those tits. That's all we're saying.
Or blow up building.
Or we will end this stream instantly. It sounds like we should have ended it an hour and a half ago. After the wonderful
light show. That was spectacular and
really high quality around here.
Right.
Yeah, we've got it under control for sure.
If Joe Dirt did a podcast,
it would be
this.
It would be this poorly ran. So but anyways, guys, I think that's it for our Joe Dirt review. Now that you can actually hear me and know what's happening, it's just so ridiculous. Which I am curious how our mics sound to you guys now that I don't sound like I'm yelling through other people's mics from across the room.
Right.
I still think that they sound bad personally, or I say bad, not great, as they should. But anyways, so normally what we do is we send you guys off with a song. We do send off songs. And so yeah, what have you guys been listening to lately? Because I've been listening to an epic truckload of new music, that new artists, new songs, all sorts of things.
Nice. I'll go first.
Sure.
Since nobody's jumping.
I mean,
so I've kind of been stepping back from like rock and all that, and I've started listening to more country. And I came across this one song called "Devil You Know" by Tyler Braden.
Okay.
It's just kind of twangy country. It's like a good old boy country. And it's basically like, don't mess with me because I'm playing nice, but there's a devil in me.
Oh, yeah.
Kind
You
of
always like that
song.
devil country.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I call it gothic country, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Devil country.
It's very adjacent to like butt rock.
Yeah.
Butt rock
this
country.
Yeah.
family.
This is
Yeah.
definitely that kind of like in that vein. Like,
Sure.
It's a step away from rock.
And what was the artist's name again?
Tyler Braden.
Okay.
Braden. I had never heard of him. It just kind of like, you know how on Spotify you can type in like a genre or whatever, and it'll make a playlist based on like your music type,
Right,
what you
right.
listen to on a regular basis. So this was on a playlist that it made for me based on my like rock music that I listen to all the time.
There we go.
And so that's why a lot of this was kind of more like rock heavy,
Yeah.
kind of. And it's not doesn't have like electric guitars or anything. It's
Sure.
Acoustics, but
Yeah.
Right.
yeah, I like the way it sounds. So.
Nice.
Nice.
Listen to it, like, a handful of times. I like the way it sounds.
Right.
Sound real good.
Sweet.
Cool.
So, Chris, what kind of indie no one's ever heard of music have you been listening to that only has like 5 listeners?
I had a popular one last time. Everybody loved Scoochie Boochie.
Scoochie Boochie is great.
Yeah, you gotta follow that on now.
Yeah. This one is by Juno Dunes.
Okay.
And it's called Baby's Back. But it's got a very like early 2000s indie vibe. Like you would probably hear this in I don't know, what are we talking about? Napoleon Dynamite or in that kind of genre of just indie music. It's got a fun vibe. Yeah. That's pretty much it.
Cool. Nice. And you said Baby's Back?
Baby's Back. Yeah.
Baby's Back. Nice. So
Juno Dunes.
I love old school hip hop a lot. And there's been this slow resurgence happening for like real rap and then just old school hip hop and getting away from all the mumble rap crap and just getting into better stuff that gets back more to the roots. Joey Valance and Bray, who Matt and I actually saw live, and they were great.
Yeah, we were like the oldest people in the room.
We were absolutely the oldest people there. Kind of like when we went to see Wallows.
Oh God, definitely the oldest and one of the few guys.
Hey, that's how you want to go sit there. You know what I'm saying? That's when you strap on to yourself and you say, throw me them titties.
That's when you get tackled and arrested.
Yeah,
exactly. Well, I actually had a show like that, maybe being the oldest person there. Yeah, it could get a little hairy. Anyway, so on to other subjects here. So hip hop is back. And so there is a group, so it's Indie Tribe is the name of the guys, but so this song is actually how a lot of old school hip hop was, where there's a lot of different artists kind of compiled on it. So the main one is 1995 is their name, but then there's Indie Tribe and this DJ Mickle, I think is how you say his name. But so anyways, basically the song is called Tribe on the Move. This song is phenomenal. Listen to Tribe on the Move. The song's great. Well, I can't keep saying show. It's so good, and I keep listening to it over and over again. My kids love it. It's making them want to get more into like the hip hop stuff, which they like. They love Joey Valance and Bray, and so
Wu-Tang is for the kids.
Right, there you go. I mean, if there's anything kid friendly, it's Wu-Tang. So. Yeah, which Elmo the Red said. It literally said that exact thing in the chat somehow. I don't even know how that y'all managed to say that at the exact same time.
It's common knowledge that Wu-Tang is for the kids.
Right.
So.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So anyways, and we do have some of you guys popping off songs and stuff here in the chat as well. And even some Shabuzi in here. His stuff's pretty decent. Yeah. So yeah, we and actually I found out about him this exact time last year when I was in Vegas. That was right before he was kind of starting to become popular. Yeah. But yeah, so check out the song Tribe on the Move. Give it a listen to it. It's very good. So yeah, but that's our send-off songs for the week. And I think we're going to bail out of here. You've had at least like 15 minutes to hear my voice properly, which is enough. That's enough. That's all you need. Sorry for all the technical difficulties earlier. Hopefully we'll eventually get our crap together. But anyways, everybody, this has been real. It's been a good one. Take it easy. Yeah.
And next week.
Oh yeah. No. Well, I guess we could say yeah.
Yeah. Are we doing the accountant too?
Yeah.
Or are we gonna...
So that's what we're tossing around.
Maybe see what the people want.
Yeah, we'll probe the audience, but we're talking about doing. We will probe. Yeah. Yeah. I should have left that statement to Matt. But yeah, so next week,
fans.
Next week we're talking about maybe doing The Accountant 2, so it would be another new movie, so it would put the show at a different time. But yeah, so we'll figure it out. We'll go follow Criticless Cast on Criticless and join the group, and we'll have the chat over there probably, and I might even put the chat up on X or the question up on X as well. Yeah. So yeah, we'll figure it out, and hopefully next week will be much better audio.
And I'll be gone for the next two. So.
Yeah, Chris is going to be gone, so we might be having some people pop in, maybe somebody with a higher IQ who could find out the problems that we have.
Luck.
We're gonna put them to work. They think they're going to show up as a guest, and we're like, no, actually,
which is actually a perfect job for Mo, because he is regularly the man who deals with all the bullcrap. So he might be the perfect person to bring in.
Yes, the high-tech skill of making sure cables are plugged in.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're IT. How did you not know to check?
I got here 6 minutes after we started.
I mean, that is true.
I thought we were just meeting at 6, not starting at 6. So
it's a tightly run show.
Yeah.
Anyways, everybody take it easy. We'll be back soon. Later,
everybody.
Peace.